Oh my God. I'm not looking at the screen. I'm not going to look at the screen. That is crazy that he started off with this. Oh my God. This is journalistic malpractice. Oh my God. Get the numbers off the screen. Get the numbers off the screen, Steve. God damn it. Get them off. We're talking. Anyway, the polls are closing. It's Hong Dynasty time. Let's take a look. Pokemon, go to the polls, baby.
These are rough. So if we start seeing a couple early counties and one game is clear in the benchmark and the other one's missing it, it could mean there are other counties where the reverse is happening. So make it a little bit of this kind of or a more decisive result here tonight. You could give us a more decisive result could give us an earlier answer. That's like a circular thing to say. But if it's like,
one flag on turnout right now.
Yeah.
We did raise the total expected vote in Wisconsin statewide, including 40,000 more votes in Dane County based on high turnout.
Wow. And what's the total statewide expected now?
The total statewide for the governor's race is 703.
Can you tell me what Milwaukee is? Milwaukee County?
122,000.
So that went up slightly. That's, and that's the other thing to again, anything that, we'll switch over to anything that comes in. This is the biggie. 20% or so of the vote is probably coming out of Madison. Probably about that is coming out of Milwaukee, too. What Adam just said is very significant, though. These are typically, recently, Madison, Dane County, this is like, it just gets bluer and bluer. You see it in presidential elections. We're always talking about this. This has become more, this used to be the sort of the heart of the Democratic, of Democratic Milwaukee. Now Dane County is. What Adam just said is like, they're updating significantly the estimated vote in Dane County particularly. The estimate in Dane that Adam just gave me is significantly up from where it was at the start of Election Day. The estimate in Milwaukee County, David Crowley is the Milwaukee County executive, is only up a little bit, suggesting high turnout today, particularly in Dane. Dane is the place. Dane has got to be like the epicenter for Hong, for her campaign. So that is an encouraging tidbit for them before anything, for her campaign, before anything actually comes in terms of results. But keep in mind, I think one theme we'll be stressing as these results come in tonight is keeping in mind what we saw in Michigan last week with Al Sayed, with his victory. Where did it come from, right? Remember, we spent so much time talking about like East Lansing doing well in places where there were younger populations, younger median ages, colleges, college areas, okay? Remember we were talking about Western Michigan with El Sayed? We were saying, why was he doing so well there? They were the counties that had the youngest median ages in the state. So we're going to be looking sort of for the same thing here tonight for Francesca Hong. And Dane County, Madison, University of Wisconsin, that looms as just massive for her. But there's going to be other places, here too, will look like La Crosse, young median age, in La Crosse. Right there on the Mississippi River. We'll look at Stevens, the University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point, Portage, young median age. There's going to be places that have like branches of the state university, smaller cities with younger median ages, young professionals. Those are places where she needs to be doing really well too. Meanwhile, for Crowley, it's not just Milwaukee County, those WOW counties they call them, right? Like, Waukesha, right? Washington, Ozaki, Ozaki, very wealthy, super educated, high income suburbs outside Milwaukee. These are the places where the Stop Hong side wants there to be like flood election day turnout. They're hoping these are the places that in the last week, that alarm that was sounded by the establishment about Hong's electability would resonate in these places. And that's why I said, if Waukesha does give us that first initial update, why I think it's so key. Waukesha is a big puzzle piece. It's not as big in a Democratic primary as it is in a Republican, but I think this is a county where when you get the number here, this is where Crowley needs to be winning, and I think he needs to be winning by a pretty healthy margin. So that's why I said if we do get a Waukesha update off the bat, and we talked to the clerk in Waukesha County today in anticipation of that possibility to clarify, to make sure that the votes that we see reported in anticipation of that possibility, to clarify, to make sure that the votes that we see reported, that there's no sequence to these where there's like a batch of vote by mail, a batch of election day, because it's so important. Just everything I was saying about what happened in July, understanding, what the sequence of the vote returns is. The clerk there told us, she told us today, Everything that comes in their office is coming in precinct at a time, voting unit at a time. It's all bundled together. Vote by mail, election day, early vote. So returns coming that are reported.
God, I loved watching this man work himself down to the bone on Tuesday night and Wednesday morning last week. It was crazy. It was crazy watching him try to get the union camera crew to stay in the studio for like 15 more minutes as he was desperately trying to crunch the numbers to see if he had if Haley Stevens had any shot at winning the election. Spilling water everywhere. It was awesome. What a machine he is. I know. Do you know what? It's not Patrick Bet David. This is the real numbers guy, okay? He truly is the real numbers guy. He loves the number.
Right there. So I think if one has an advantage there, if that happens to come in early, Ozaki, I think needs to be a really big Crowley win. Washington, it's a little smaller, would need to be a big Crowley win. I think he would need to. Another good bellwether could be right here, where Appleton is, out of Gamey County. I think this would need to be a Crowley County Brown. This is where Green Bay is. The Bow counties. We got the Wow counties, and we got the Bow County. I always say Wisconsin's where we bark like a dog. Bow wow. Okay. The sort of the Fox River Valley.
Yeah, he loves numbers so much. There aren't even any numbers on screen, and he's just fantasizing about numbers before the numbers show up. Oh,
here we go. What do we got? Very, very small here. 3% of the votes, like probably a precinct or something. Watertown, Jefferson County, Watertown, Wisconsin's here.
Stop the steal.
I think the thing that jumps out is just look how much vote didn't go to either one of these candidates. A quarter of the vote, right? Look at this. I mean, this is like a precinct or something.
God,
but I think that's just the first thing that just jumps out.
With this?
Not going to.
Kornacki, this is literally, you're going to give me a heart attack. Oh my God. I'm not looking at the screen. I'm not going to look at the screen. That is crazy. Oh my God. I'm not looking at the screen. I'm not going to look at the screen. That is crazy that he started off with this. Oh my God. This is journalistic malpractice. Oh my God. Get the numbers off the screen. Get the numbers off the screen, Steve. God damn it. Get them off. We're talking about 85 to 99 votes, man. I know it's like a total of 200. I know it's a total of 200 votes. It's just, I don't want to see it. I don't like the number. I don't like the number.
Holy cow. Look at how many, this is 2/3 of the vote for these two and 11 for Kelder-Royce. 9, Sarah Rodriguez dropped out of the race. Mandela Barnes dropped out of the race. Missy Hughes out of the race. And yet you are seeing a third of the vote here go to the other candidates, okay? So for what it's worth, we put benchmarks together to hit 45% for these two candidates. What did we think you needed to see in Jefferson County? Overall, we said Crowley at 45% needed to win it by like 2 points over Hong. He is beating her by 1 vote, but with a much lower.
I'm so mad.
Just much lower vote for the two of them.
So
Again,
mad.
this is just we're looking at,
what,
a town or something in Jefferson County.
I was at work in Milwaukee.
Wisconsin.
My work friend who's an immigrant said our family group chat was all about you. She knows I follow you. They said they were voting for Hong because that's who you supported. She said this was your underwear
and not every county. I said what
on her phone.
What we see in Waukesha. Also, I should note, not every county does what Waukesha does with a pure mix of all types of votes at all times. There are going to be some counties where you are getting discrete updates of just the early vote, as opposed to, and so that's one other thing to.
Why is there? Oh my God, God, the American election system is so busted. I mean, look, it's safe, it's secure. I love it, but I also hate it at the same time. Why do they do mixed results? And it varies by county. How is that possible? Who designed this?
Precincts around the county.
Right. Okay.
And another update from
Don't do mix. Just do mail in first and then move up to same day. Move up to election day. Slowly but surely. Why? Why does it have to be like this? Why are they doing half C's? We're doing half mail-in, half absentee ballot, half same day. Ooh, it's kooky. It's going to be hard to make projections. We just like it that way. What the It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
This is the kind of county that between these two candidates, I felt like our benchmarks here were saying when all is counted here, Crowley needs to have a slight advantage over Hong. Crowley does have a slight advantage over Hong with about half the vote in. Okay, Waukesha, here we go. Okay, it's a precinct. It's a precinct, but should we leave it here and see if they quickly add more?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Let's just, unless anything else lights up, folks, because this hints at the possibility.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you joking? Are you joking? I'm going to have a aneurysm. Why? Why is this the design of how they are collecting and counting the votes? How is this the design? What is going on? Oh my God, this is worse than Michigan. Oh my God. 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 My asshole is puckering so much. Why do they do it like this? I know it's 28 votes. It's literally journalistic malpractice to show percentages when it's 28 votes to 12. Oh my God. Okay, more votes. The difference is 200 votes. Me, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Now, okay, it's not a ton, but that's again what we're seeing. We're seeing communities in Waukesha County transmitting vote, and we said this needs to be, if he's going to make it a game, this needs to be a Crowley win, and it needs to be a pretty decisive one. I don't want to say too much at 2%, but I just say if you are looking at something like this at 20%, that is certainly in the realm of what I'm describing. But this is 2%. And one thing we saw when we broke down the Waukesha returns from November was it was sort of these small outlying towns and villages that were kind of reporting early. And what was the report? I don't want to get off Waukesha.
It was another Jefferson report.
No, we just got a little bit in Wood just to show, Wood here needs to be a Crowley win. We think I had it at about a 10. Wood here needs to be a Crowley win. We think I had it at about a 10-point Crowley win for 45-45. Like the city of Waukesha came a little bit later in 24. We have more in Jefferson. I'll just toggle back there to see. We're landing at something close to, we're at 2/3 here. And I would say, for Crowley, those are pretty encouraging numbers there, at least in Jefferson. Columbia County, okay, again, this is just a small amount. I don't want to lose the plot at all in Waukesha. But
I'm going to lose it.
Adam,
I'm going
keep
to
me
lose
honest
my
here.
mind. I'm going to lose
Anything
my
else?
mind. I'm going to lose my mind. It's just like every election, it's just, here's how it goes. Every election, rural areas, okay, smaller populated rural areas immediately are first to market with their numbers, okay? And so it's just, you look at it and you're like, what the f going on? You're like, every single time, every single election. Look, I love Wisconsin. I'm a Wisconsin nationalist, but goddamn, dude. Goddamn. It's like, it's crazy that the first county that delivers results has like 18 people and a cow in it. Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's just mostly coming from like farmland and shit.
I think from the standpoint early on here of can Crowley make this a game or was this going to be a Hong runaway? These are, if you're on the I want Crowley to make this a game bandwagon, these are provisionally encouraging numbers for you. But again, it's limited here. But I'm just, again, these are small. I don't want to read too much without Jefferson's.
Then stop pressing buttons. Just put the camera on your face. Just don't show us the numbers. Kornacki, don't do it. Show us the khaki. Show us the khaki, Kornacki. That's it. Just, Dr. Jihad, I don't like the number for real. I don't like the number either. It's going to take less than 45% to win this thing statewide. But, you could see that's right in line.
for each candidate. It's right in line, because that works the other way too. That's a 45-45 tie. That's each of them. Okay, Waukesha. I just want to, Adam, shout if anything is. I said I have this little computer thing I worked up. I want to just try something here.
Camera constantly moving.
Oh, I just ruined it.
All right, we got another Waukesha.
Yeah,
Unbelievably,
it's the
ruined
jib.
it.
Now you know how I
union,
feel.
the union crew operating that jib is getting their money's worth. Okay, after last week's shenanigans.
Look, Crowley, we thought to get to 45% statewide. Okay, the rough thing we were saying Crowley wanted to get out of here was 49% of the vote. He's running 46.6. Okay, with about a fifth of the vote in. Hong to be getting to 45% statewide, we said wanted to be at 41 here. She's running well south of that. I want to say, though, that if Hong misses her numbers in the WOW counties, she can make up for it with bigger than expected turnout and bigger than expected numbers in Dane County. And we've already seen our estimated vote for Dane County rise pretty dramatically, okay, in the advance of tonight. And so that's already one piece of it for her. And if she gets a bigger share than the benchmark we have for her there, that combination undoes a lot, if not all, the damage of missing numbers, in the WOW counties. So I would just say that the early thing we can say, looking at this number in Waukesha County and next door in Jefferson. Okay, now Jefferson County, it looks like that means there is a little bit more vote there than we thought there was. So you can see that was at 95%. We thought that was complete. I should always say when it hits 95, it's potentially complete. That's when our decision desk goes and looks.
How
and
fucked are we?
makes sure.
There's nothing. There's nothing here yet. Yeah, it's everything that's come in so far is mostly coming for Crowley. Yeah, there is literally zero information. That's why I'm yelling. It's not because it's 2.5% so far. It's because the counties and the way that they're weighing, the counties are the way that they're weighing the way that they're looking at early votes versus election day votes. I don't have any understanding of how they're calculating it, but the counties that they're coming from, the counties that they're releasing their numbers are smaller counties and largely rural areas, more conservative voter base in general. There's nothing from like any of the Hong Dynasty, nothing from the Hong Dynasty strongholds so
across
far.
narrowly by about 2 points and be on pace for that 45%. And she's winning it, by leading it by about 3 points. So again, we zoom out statewide right here.
Debate me, Hasan. I hate Yu-Gi-Oh. I hate
Waukesha's
it too,
up to 33%. We got a third of the vote now in Waukesha County, and there is Crowley sitting at 46%, and Hong sitting only at 30%. So Crowley is getting and I want to put this in the context of the total statewide between Crowley and Hong is sitting at 75%. Meaning a quarter of the vote currently is going to other candidates. If that lasts, if the other candidates end up with a quarter of the vote, then it only takes 37.5% to win statewide. 33. Where else is there? Let's just go through significant vote. Washara only 7. We're going way up north here. Again, this Eau Claire County. Now this is interesting because I would put this in this is a county Hong should be winning, and she should be winning this thing by a pretty convincing margin over Crowley. And again, this is just 12% of the vote. We don't know where it's from. The University of Wisconsin Eau Claire is here. Again, this could be a geographic thing, but this is a county where when this number gets up, when this 12% gets up, Hong probably needs to be winning here. So you continue to see early on here, in La Crosse, she's sort of just about where she'd want to be, I think. She'd want to step it up there.
It's not that it's only 12%, chat. Is 12% of what? We don't know. It's 12%, but it's 12% of what? We don't know. That's the problem. Okay? Is it early votes? Is it election day votes? We don't know. You can't actually conduct any analysis off of it, because if it's same day voting, then there's a higher likelihood that these are younger voters. It's more so in the pocket for Francesca Hong. If they're earlier voters, they're more likely to be older.
And yeah, everything that we've seen and what's come in so far.
But to be fair, given the barrage of anti-Hong media, I would go so far as to say the early voters might even favor Hong as well. So I don't even know. I don't know how much impact the last week of like barrage of anti-Hong media from the entire national media apparatus, what kind of damage that did, because they really tweaked they absolutely put her in the crosshairs, and they really base boosted the anti-Hong narratives, and Crowley was rarely ever mentioned or only mentioned as like the only reliable alternative. So obviously there could be an impact there as well. We're going to find out, because as we always say, the only poll that matters is on election day. Okay?
That we have in our system here. If you give me 2 minutes, maybe even less, and Adam, shout if anything else comes in. I'll drop what I'm doing. I want to try to get this right. This thing that I screwed up. So I'm just going to bear with me. This is all directly Wisconsin related. What I'm doing right now.
Give me something, Vote Hub. Give me something, Vote Hub. Zachary Danini, Hong has the hope this is outside the city of La Crosse. Yeah, Hong has the hope that this is outside the city of La Crosse, and this +3 margin goes up well below her benchmark here. The question is now exactly what her margin is in Dane and if it's enough. I view this race as a toss-up right now. Zachary Danini, I would still rather be Hong, but she's going to need to squeeze every vote possible out of Dane. She's losing Waukesha handily, and Jefferson County burning one handily is very tight. Holy Michael Lindell. I mean, it's 0.3% of the vote. Yeah, this is another classic case, by the way, of the media totally base boosting certain candidates and trying to boost their unfavorabilities as aggressively as possible. Mike Pillow was on the governor's race and was endorsed by the president, and you never even heard about it in Minnesota. Is ridiculous. You heard a million times over about like Francesca Hong wants to kill you if you enjoy a Thanksgiving turkey. Meanwhile, that's good numbers for Peggy, by the way. That's great.
Yeah, I know. Okay, out of gaming. Let's go right up there. We got this is. Remember, I said this is like, I think out of gaming is like a swing county between these two. We got a fifth of the vote now in out of gaming. Appleton, Wisconsin here. Fox River Valley, and there's Crowley in that first fifth. Again, just it's consistent with what there's Dane. There's Dane. Okay, holy cow. Okay, now this is a small chunk of Dane, and we don't know where from, but this is supposed to be okay. Not everything in Dane is Madison, is University of Wisconsin. But I want to say this is supposed to be based on the benchmarks we're talking about. This is supposed to be Hong's best county in the state, biggest vote producer, biggest share of the had a huge turnout today. Hong's benchmark here that we established for a higher vote share was 53. Let me put it this way. To get 45% of the vote statewide, we said Crowley probably wants to be hitting 37% in Dane. In this first update, he's just over 37%. And the way this is running statewide, probably going to take well less than 45% to win it. This is a very, I don't know exactly where this is coming from in Dane. I want to see as more vote comes in Dane if it looks anything like this. If it looks, yeah.
Taking a look at their county website and the precincts reporting, it doesn't look like there are precincts in Madison yet. Yeah. But a few precincts from Fitchburg and Sun Prairie and some around the county.
Okay, I mean, right. There's a lot of, it's a super, super liberal county. There are, well-to-do, affluent, more professional class, even older, very liberal, politically engaged voters. It's not just college kids and young kids, and that demographic I'm describing might be a more in line with warnings from the establishment about Hong. If anything like this persists,
we have no idea where these numbers are coming from.
Hong has to win Dane. She has to win it by
Dane is not even a question. Like, look, Madison is Francesca Hong territory.
It could be a good bellwether tonight. Quarter the vote there. There's Hong with a slight advantage. Up in Racine County, though, again, Crowley. Yeah, these are, I would just say these are numbers for Crowley these are very encouraging numbers for him. Honestly, I don't think we've clicked on one
Hong
yet.
is still favored to win Dane, but her path is narrowing quickly.
And say we
Hong
need to
is
see
losing
more,
Dane
and it may
so
not
far,
be
although
from this
there's
part
no
of the county and
Madison, so
everything.
this should
These are
flip.
all, if you're Crowley, I think encouraging numbers. Dane, we're still at 5. Columbia 7. Sook, we're at 60. He's at 41 here. They're not in lacrosse.
Another Dane update.
We got Dane. Okay, that just flipped to Hong. Okay, well, it flipped to Hong.
That's
now
not
we're
good.
at a fifth
That's
of the
not
vote
enough.
in Dane County, and it flipped to Hong, but
It's not enough.
It barely flipped to Hong. You're looking at the precincts. Can you see if anything
me a
is
better dog!
If we're in Madison,
Show me the
some idea where we are right here. This is.
Yeah, we are digging into Madison now.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
she
that's not
needs.
enough. That's terrible.
She needs, I think, a double-digit, margin over Crowley here. This is.
Yeah, she
these
needs to run up the
they're
numbers.
underwhelming numbers. If you're
Madison
Hong.
is supposed to be
These are very underwhelming numbers so far. We haven't heard anything from Milwaukee. Now, Milwaukee County is not just the city; it's the county. David Crowley is the county executive. It doesn't look like it's going to produce the same number of votes as Eau Claire just flipped. So now this is more in line. Okay, we said this was initially we had about 20% here. In Eau Claire, we said this is a county Hong needs to be winning. Now more vote has come in here. She has taken the lead here. Again, I think she'd want to be winning by a bigger share than this, perhaps. But it has now moved in her direction. Again, these votes come in from different places in the county. It's not all just the city of Eau Claire. We're still at 34 in La Crosse. We're at 20 in Dane. We're at 50 in Waukesha. Again, for Crowley, that's I think that's a number that would land him. If that was extrapolated statewide, that would land him. That could land him in the mid 40s. For Hong, that's just. There's a lot of that you just see. A lot of the vote that's not going to Crowley isn't just going to Hong. A lot of it's going to other candidates. Right? There's 54% in Waukesha County right now. 54% of the voters. Now we're up to 2/3 in Waukesha. And Hong's number ticks up a bit. Crowley's remains flat. Okay, 54% didn't vote for Crowley. Hong is not getting 54%. She's only getting 32 of that. Look, 8, 6, 5. It's
Some more Outagamie just came in.
And more Outagamie. Now that has flipped over to Hong. Okay, we say this is a swing county. So now some numbers are starting to move a little bit more for her.
Outbound governor.
We say this is a swing county. Half the vote in. She does take the lead right here in that count. Okay.
I just don't understand how the fucking pollsters could be so off, bro. Holy, the polls are so good.
The driftless area, right? La Crosse, we're at 1/3. Dane, we're at still 20%. We say this could be a swing county. Kenosha, we're about half in Kenosha. Hong with the lead there. Okay, so
no,
she's,
it's not David Crowley. This is Tony Evers' endorsement, but it doesn't matter.
For
like
Crowley.
even
They're
then, the polls cannot be that
if you're
bad.
Crowley, encouraging from the standpoint of being competitive. And I think that was a baseline question coming into this. Could he even be competitive? I think he's certainly answering that as an
overall,
emphatic
calm
yes,
down,
but they're
dumbass.
not.
No,
low,
I'm not.
They're very,
I mean, look, the numbers currently, depending on which precincts are being counted early, it could be somewhat of a Red Mirage style situation here. Even when you look at the exurb suburbs around Madison, in Dane County, but ultimately these are areas where there are areas where Francesca Hong should have been overperforming on, judging by the polls, these are areas that Francesca Hong should have been overperforming by pretty wide margins, regardless of whether it was the early vote or the later vote. Okay. Now, Milwaukee hasn't dropped, but Milwaukee is probably going to be very favorable for David Crowley too. He's going to probably be very competitive in Milwaukee.
Richland County, it's just like a precinct. Sook County now up to 62. Crowley continues to lead there. Reset it. Sook County now up to 62. Crowley continues to lead there. Reset it. What does it all add up to? It adds up to a 5,300 vote advantage for Crowley. Nothing yet from Milwaukee County. What you see here in Waukesha, I think you can reasonably expect to see a version of here.
But
I think you could probably expect to see here. Probably will be even worse for Hong in Ozaki.
The areas that I went to were very woke.
A sixth of the vote in statewide. Wow. Nothing yet in Brown County. No, this is really interesting. This is the best numbers, if you're looking at it from Hong's standpoint right now, the best numbers that you're seeing on this map, I think are numbers that put you just
Hong is losing an affluent older precinct in the middle of Madison in a neighborhood called Wingera Park by 27.
So there are numbers that say has a chance, but not numbers that say, certainly the idea that she was going to win this thing big or run away with it early. I think that's been settled. Won't.
What's your take on polls being so wrong? I have no idea.
If she's at that,
I genuinely don't know why the fucking polls are so wrong. It's so goddamn annoying. I will admit it is so annoying.
The score in parts of Dane County, the sky could be the limit on what she gets out of there, and that can undo a lot. Milwaukee, I think Milwaukee County looms as a real X factor here. I think demographically, there's some reasons to think Hong is going to do quite well there. Our benchmarks say it's the kind of place she should win. These are rough benchmarks, as I say, but this is Crowley's home. This is Crowley's county. He's the county executive. So that's
Dane update.
We got a big Dane update. Adam says, what do we got out of Dane? So we went from 20% in to 31% in. That Crowley, that Hong margin over Crowley inches up, but it's not exploding yet. We still have a lot of precincts to come. I saw a little bit more, I think, coming in.
Yeah. No, it's not a blowout for sure. It's over. It's not a blowout for sure. But it's also not indicative of a Crowley victory nor a Francesca Hong victory right now. So it's a unfortunate nail biter so far.
Dane, again, what does that add up to statewide? Inside of 5,000 votes right now, statewide. Crowley with an opportunity. I think, look, he's beating her by 5,000 votes in Waukesha with, still a quarter of the vote to come, okay? I think if you look at Washington and Ozaki combined, they're going to be smaller than Waukesha, but he can do something similar. So you're just looking at this, trying to look where each candidate can kind of get margin from here. Crowley, the places Crowley's got to...
Look, my hope is this is just early vote, okay? My hope is it's Red Mirage, it's just early vote, Election Day vote comes in, and it's like topsy-turvy, completely flipped. But then again, I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea how it's weighed. I don't know if it's like mixed. I don't know if it's mixed in every county. They literally said that in certain precincts they are mixed, in certain precincts they're not. So even if you look at it by precinct, it's still not good enough information to make a projection because we don't know. Stop saying it's an open primary. It's a semi-open primary. That's not like that. That's not, boosting the results. Plus, the Republicans legitimately thought that Francesca Hong would be the chosen easier candidate to defeat. So it being an open primary wouldn't mean people are voting for David Crowley. Republicans would not vote for David Crowley in this situation because they think David Crowley is a far stronger candidate against the Republican opponent as opposed to Francesca Hong. So you guys are wrong. Stop saying it's a open primary. Not only is it very unlikely for there to be like a bunch of Republicans that got the Democratic ballot just so they could vote for the Democrat. Even if they were to vote for the Democrat, the likelihood that they would vote for David Crowley is very, very low. I'd rather be Crowley, but this drop keeps Hong in it for now. However, this is just Election Day vote. Usually absentee vote would be much better for a candidate like Crowley, but he was dropped out of the race when a lot of these absentees were cast. We will see later. Oh my God. I guess to give pollsters a little bit of credit here, even though I don't want to, maybe it's because there was so much candidate chaos that it made it virtually impossible, made it virtually impossible to poll
third in
appropriately.
statewide, that Crowley margin. Holy cow. This is, if I sound a little more subdued, it's because there's a lot more to process with this one. This is like, we had no expectations. And the range was like Hong wins this in a blowout right away to like this is Crowley is it's quite something. I don't know if where this is going to land, but a lot of places here he's done a lot better than I think maybe it's quite something. I don't know if where this is going to land. But a lot of places here he's done a lot better than I think maybe it looked on paper for him. Adam, any idea on that Milwaukee?
Yeah, there's definitely results from inside Milwaukee, not all results. I'm just trying to do a rough tally for what's been reported.
Well, you did
from
that.
Milwaukee.
I think we just got some Washington. Yeah, now this is a little closer. I thought this is much smaller. This is one of the wild counties. It is the smallest of them. Ozaki just came in. We got a fifth of the vote in Ozaki. As I said, I think Ozaki would look like Waukesha and maybe a little bit more friendly for Crowley. Let's see what the remainder is. It's about a fifth of the vote there. But I mean, the opportunity here for Crowley, I think, is that the name of the game is to try to run up the score in these counties. A little low for him there in Washington.
Milwaukee County is expected to be a Crowley stronghold, but Hong is outperforming expectations here, while Crowley is far exceeding his benchmarks elsewhere. It's always topsy-turvy. It's so strange, man. I don't know why it works out like that. Yeah, Milwaukee is supposed to be far stronger for Crowley, and yet so far with 44% in, this is competitive. Hasan, people vote last minute for Crowley. That's why polls are so off. Well, once again, there's also the likelihood that in certain rural areas, they might have voted early when Crowley wasn't even on the ballot. Or not on the ballot, sorry. That Crowley had dropped out already.
I do keep in mind that Milwaukee is we should mention this. I want to zoom out to the statewide. Keep in mind that the city of Milwaukee is one of the places that holds its early vote until the very end of the night. And that's probably 25,000 votes. The city of Milwaukee. That's a vote that's probably not that great for Crowley. Because, again, so much of that was done, that early vote was done when he wasn't a candidate.
Yeah.
How much? It's
like this is a layup from the establishment. Let's see if we're in a situation where those 25,000 votes loom big late in the night. Margin now 43-69. Did more just come in from Dane?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, it did. And again, Hong is not opening up here. I think this is the big story.
Shocking.
We're closing in on half the vote in Dane County, and Crowley is not even, but darn close to it with Hong here, and this is the kind of place where when I was looking at what it would take here to just get there for each candidate statewide, Crowley's at that number. This number. This is a number that I think with everything else that we're seeing.
Francesca Hong outperforming in Milwaukee, and why is Crowley outperforming in Dane? What is happening? Why is he outperforming in
This
Madison?
is much lower than the number Hong wants to get out of Dane County. I'll put it that way. I'm still
Madison
waiting
yet? Is that why?
Holding the possibility in my head that there's deeply, Hong-friendly demographics in some precincts that haven't reported yet that could change that.
This
but
does
we're
not
getting
make
more
sense.
and more from Dane. And it's just starting to, she's not opening it up there. Let's look at
this. If you stick with Dane, in the city of Madison, it looks like we have 27,
for people who dropped out. It's
28,000
thousands
votes.
is crazy.
And Hong's
to be
winning
fair, this was
47% in Madison.
I would say that about other campaigns, but this was unique. There was Crowley wasn't even in the race for like half of the early vote. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so there is a bit of a Madison, non-Madison divide there. It's not all Madison. 5,300 is his margin, Crowley's over Hong statewide. 37% of it. Wow, we got a fascinating race here. Brown County, we're still at 34. Outagamie, we're still at 45. I'm just looking here for places where we've got new vote that are of substantial size. Washington, 68 in Waukesha. We've seen 43 in Ozaki. We're up here from, I think 18 was the first report. So yeah, it stayed about level. I think Hong might be up a tick, but it's basically stayed level there. We did say
TV ads
Kenosha
went hard there. My family there told me TV was flooded with Crowley ads last week. Stop.
Less than 200.
Stop. You got to buy TV ads. Joseph, it's to block
which I
the
think,
Crowley ads.
I think, again, this is only 3%, but I expect Crowley to, in these counties right here can bank some margin, and Milwaukee's just fascinating again because
that's crazy.
Just that clash between the demographics and between Crowley's political base. So statewide, 38% of the vote. Crowley continues to lead us now, about 2 points over Hong. Did more from La Crosse come in? Yeah, we're close to. Okay, now it opened up here. So we said this is one of those places where a young median age. This is a
thank
younger
God.
median age than the rest of the
Jesus
state. University campus is friendly to Hong, and Hong here. This is a good number for
Who is
her
counting these
and a low number
fucking
for Crowley.
votes?
But we got a big Milwaukee update. Now we're up to 3/4 of the vote in Milwaukee, and Crowley's gonna So Crowley up. Adam, what's the expected remaining vote in Milwaukee County?
Milwaukee, we're looking at 32,000 is our current estimate.
I think most of what's left in Milwaukee now is central count, right?
Yeah, that sounds
How are
right.
they
The
counting
number
these
that we
votes?
had, the decision desk had tracked down earlier was right about that. Yes.
Okay, so just to let you know, I mean, we just got a ton of Milwaukee, and we think there's about they call it central count. They take the vote by mail, they take the early vote. It all goes to a central facility just in the city of Milwaukee. It typically is what they report out at the end of the night. Sometimes it can be very, very late at night. Maybe it's going faster tonight, and we're going to get it sooner. Huge wild card because
She
you
is
can see
doing very
Crowley
well
is
in
holding
Milwaukee.
his own
She is
here.
actually outperforming expectations in Milwaukee. But again, we don't know. We don't know. This is a really, really, really positive result for Milwaukee. But then you look at Madison and there's nothing. So we don't know. It doesn't make any sense. It's literally
What's
flipped.
going to look like? Is he going to fall behind in it? Is that an opportunity for Hong?
But then
in Milwaukee
again,
County?
we don't know. What if the last remaining votes are all old people or something? I don't know. What if they just didn't count the black precincts yet or something? Like I genuinely don't understand how they're counting these votes.
The decision desk on that absentee vote, I think it was about 28,000 was the estimate that we
if
had.
you think about that,
It should be right there.
We're that's close to everything left. We think in Milwaukee County is that central count in Dane County at 44%.
No, she's
Anything
not. She's
significant
supposed to be
just come in while
competitive
we
in
were talking that
Milwaukee.
through.
No, Milwaukee was where
okay.
Crowley was
Hang on, I just
supposed to
saw-
run up his numbers, and Francesca Hong was
This is
supposed to
small.
run up her
I
numbers
think
in
Brown
Madison.
just came in. Okay. Dodge came in. We're at. Does this go from zero? Or
I think so, yeah. I don't think
You're not
Okay.
listening. They already said
Yeah,
she's
Crowley,
winning in
again,
Madison.
these are
No,
Crowley numbers.
dude.
I mean, these
no,
are like Crowley
big,
needs to win
big
this,
margins.
This is what he needs to be doing here. He's doing it, and that Hong number is low. So yeah, now he's up to 8,000 statewide. And what are the places where Hong would be looking here? As we said, would be like Portage County, Stevens Point. I think that's going to look like this. I think that's going to look
Get another Dane
like this.
update.
We got more Dane. 58. Okay, now that was more friendly to Hong, but only, what was her margin before? It was about 2,000. She probably added about 1,700. They're up to 60% in Dane County.
That's not good.
Okay, and Hong is losing statewide by 6,400 votes with, nearly 60% of Dane in. Her margin here is only 3,732. I mean, this is supposed to be the idea of this was going to be a sort of DSA earthquake in Wisconsin. This was going to be its epicenter, Dane County. This is what Dane County looks like with almost 60% of the vote in. So again, zoom out. I've been processing this and reserving judgment and the possibilities here of the very friendly Hong precincts in Dane and everything. But that's a lot of vote in Dane County, and do
you see
that
that's
margin
her?
there
That's her stronghold. Dane County is where she's
has
supposed
not
to
opened
fucking
up the way I
put
think
up the numbers.
a lot of people expected it was going to. Meanwhile, waiting on.
That's why I've been
central
panicking.
count in Milwaukee.
Or that's why I haven't been
Waukesha
as
just a
confident
tick
about
more
these results
came
so
in since
far.
we last checked. Nothing there in Washington. In Ozaki, I think nothing more came in there. We were on Dodge County. We said, he's hitting his numbers here. Crowley is certainly hitting numbers there. Where else? We have more in Rock County. We're up to 60% here. Walworth County. Yeah, these are, I don't know where Crowley is. Crowley headquarters in Milwaukee. We said Rock Hill was getting excited for Norman.
Patrick Ruffini, it does appear
like what they're,
Hong has a base in the city, so it could be a long night. The tug of
war
war is now Madison and downtown Milwaukee for Hong, and Black Milwaukee and WoW for Crowley versus small cities for Hong versus rules for Crowley.
Clearly, that late consolidation.
says,
that
very
late
quick read
effort
here is that
by
Hong is
Evers
not
and
favored
the
at this
establishment
point.
wing to consolidate the establishment behind Crowley.
How much of this do you think is the black vote
clearly
flipping
that
from their
took
traditionally
hold
progressive
here.
position?
He has a real chance of winning this thing
there's,
here.
One, there's a black candidate.
I think,
two,
we'll
oftentimes
say,
favoring
for
the
others to do
establishment. The establishment
analysis
threw all of its weight
key
with the
turning
Tony
points and
Evers
everything, but
endorsement.
These Hong numbers, they're quite low. So far, they're strikingly low in some places compared to where I think demographically she might
No,
be
it's
doing a
not.
little bit
It's not
better.
as significant of an
Which is
open
not to say
primary
she's out
issue,
of this,
guys. I'm telling you, if it was an open primary, they would literally Republicans would vote for
range of
Francesca Hong.
possibilities. The start of
Why?
the
I don't know
night
why
was
you
like,
guys won't listen to
Hong
me.
wins this thing big,
If it, first of all,
Crowley wins this
even
thing
if the open
narrow,
primary
okay?
meta was
That's-
happening here,
now
because
we're-
a lot of you got
so
like
it's-
hung up on that in
much as I'm saying
Michigan,
these numbers
they would
for
not
Hong
vote for
are
David
not
Crowley.
what-
Republicans would vote for
what I
Francesca
think the
Hong.
folks were
They think
expecting.
Francesca Hong is the easier candidate to
Still in
beat.
that realm where
Okay.
Each candidate has a shot here. Because at best, this is pointing to if you're.
Why are
Crowley,
you
at best,
discounting the
this is
fact that
pointing
Hong
to
has
you
been
winning
terrible
narrow.
over the
At
last
best,
2 weeks with their
you're,
responses?
this
I
is
don't think it's
pointing to
as
still
consequential.
winning narrowly.
I think
So,
you have to weight the. If you were to weigh the power of the
nothing more
endorsement of the
indicating
outbound
essentially
governor,
58
that obviously is far more consequential in this circumstance than like her saying, yeah, Thanksgiving sucks. I think if you were to weigh bad decisions from the campaign, as I said earlier today, one of the bad decisions, in my opinion, was to not run TV ads at all, because the reality of the matter is the primary electorate still skews fairly old. I mean, olds vote and olds watch TV and they love TV. And even if you're not going to present your best face forward on TV, the olds that are watching national television that are seeing your bad results and whatnot, or bad responses or whatnot, are very likely going to see the ads, the Crowley ads. So the best thing you can do in that situation is at least defensively purchase TV slots, so that you at least are purchasing, you're purchasing some TV slots to make sure that the olds actually hear from you in a more favorable manner. Of course, last but not least, Francesca Hong was out on her own the entire time. With the exception of myself, Michael from Pennsylvania, and like Ilhan Omar, there were no big national endorsements. It was DSA and the magic spot that we found in all of the data that we look at. The magic spot is always national Prague endorsement, local DSA, which definitely showed up big time in this race. Absolutely, do not discount that. And then, you know, me pushing a little bit. That is like usually the trinity. There was no Bernie endorsement. There was no AOC endorsement. That plays somewhat of a role here. I think those, then why aren't they endorsing? Because they didn't want to put themselves out there. They didn't want to lay their stake on potentially failing to achieve the trifecta in Wisconsin, when the establishment were going nightmare mode to try to throw as many hurdles in front of Francesca Hong as possible. Because the polls in the general show Francesca Hong as a toss-up, as opposed to all of the other Democratic candidates as potentially defeating the Republican. Okay? That's why. Polls showed Francesca Hong as a toss-up, as opposed to the other candidates as leaning Democrat or defeating Tom Tiffany handily. And that's the reason why the establishment really, really wanted to make sure. Now, of course, we don't know what the polls are. We shouldn't trust the polls at all, because the polls have been wrong so consistently. But anyway, a concern for Hong: La Crosse and Eau Claire, her two best counties so far, are already heavily reported. She now needs to outperform expectations in Milwaukee Mail. AB usually hurts progressives, but some ballots were cast while Crowley was dropped out of the race. Exactly. So, hopefully absentee ballots favor Francesca Hong in this circumstance. One, it will predate the Thanksgiving chaos. It also predates the Tony Evers endorsement, which is the most consequential element in the race so far. And it also predates David Crowley coming back into the race. So the likelihood is that they went to all these other candidates, even if they went to other candidates. Therefore, it opens up a lane for Francesca Hong to overperform in the absentee ballot votes. But the issue there is Mandela Barnes might have actually, cleaned up.
It means more of the non-Hong vote went to other candidates here, as opposed to attaching itself to Crowley. So he wanted his own number to be higher here. And so that's a place where I think that factor we're talking about of votes being cast early,
I'm confused how he can drop out and come back in.
We have yet
you're
to hear
still
from
on the
Winnebago
ballot.
County. Oshkosh is here.
He dropped out after the ballots were sent out.
This could be a swing county. Okay, we said
There's
this
a
could be a
date
swing
that
county.
if you drop
Hong
out
is
before a
leading
certain
there.
date,
Yep.
you don't get
Steve,
on the
keep you
ballot.
posted on,
But all these
Wisconsin
candidates
results.
stayed
If you
in
wanna
until the
take a quick
final moment, pretty
detour to
much.
Minnesota,
And then Crowley actually dropped
we are
out.
getting about 12% of the vote
Crowley
there
actually
total,
dropped out
overall,
just so
including
he
that
could,
Dakota County has
just so
reported.
they could
Okay.
consolidate support
Yeah,
behind
this is
Sarah
that,
Rodriguez,
we
who
said
had
we
no
expect it to
motion
be a
and her
very slow
campaign
night
fucking tanked and cratered and
Minnesota. Peggy
collapsed because of the
Flanagan
campaign mismanagement from the campaign manager. And then Tony Evers and the Wisconsin Democratic Party basically brought back Crowley and then tried to boost them as to the best of their ability with a Tony Evers endorsement, full tilt, maximum media coverage on Francesca Hong's negatives, boosting her negatives to the best of their ability. That's where the national media played a major role. I think a campaign mistake in this circumstance was to even entertain the national media coverage, or at least if you were going to entertain the national media coverage, it was important to be like clear and concise with your commentary. So it was a rat fucking operation that literally would have been infinitely more effective if they had actually gotten their ducks in a row early on. David Crowley is not like a uniquely charismatic candidate as we've seen so far. That's why he was at 6%, and that's the reason why they were trying to push for Rodriguez instead. I think the late momentum was really against Hong, not just because the establishment endorsement a ton of money in the bad TV answers, but also the debate seemed to significantly help the minor candidates and actually hurt Hong significantly among the undecideds, according to the polls from last week. Yeah.
What's happening?
I see it. I mean, her debate performance was a little bit underwhelming, although Michael from Pennsylvania said he was supposed to just like defend herself.
This happened in South Carolina too. Sometimes there's these glitches, data entry glitches, and I think that's what just happened there. Brown still 34. Again, I'm just looking to see if we got any more vote from these places. Adegami, Osaki, we're talking about has the statewide expected vote been adjusted again?
What?
Yeah,
I
current
wish you would
estimate
stop
is
it agreeing with him. They're doing this for entertainment. Please keep it that way. I understand
So
where
it's
you're coming
going
from,
up
but stop
again.
believing in people just because you see
What's our
goddamn posts
Dane?
on Twitter and you've seen them or relied on them
Dane
in the past.
County,
What?
157 total.
What are you saying?
Okay, so that's only going up 1,000. What's Milwaukee?
121.
That's the same. Interesting.
And it's also possible it's one of those ones where they updated the statewide number
Without updating them, yeah.
updating
Right. So I mean, that's the other possibility we have to keep in mind. 70, we got more in Dane. Okay. So now again, Hong continues. It is a 4.5 point margin here. Her margin she's getting a net of 5,100 votes out of here. This is one of those places where we got to be careful.
Pull through, People's Republic of Wisconsin.
What Adam just said,
Pull through.
If the election day is through the roof in Dane, this could be the kind of place where this is the expected vote. This is based on what we were expecting the total vote to be in Dane. If the election day vote is through the roof, this can be adjusted. These numbers are often adjusted by our decision desk throughout the night as they get a clearer picture of how many votes were actually cast.
The top
as they
number
go
is
from
not
the expected
the
vote
end
to
all be
seeing
all,
what
chatters.
it actually was. So we think there's about a quarter of the vote left in Dane County. There's a possibility, it could be less. I think tonight the possibility we're dealing with is it more? Is it more because of surge turnout? And again, I think Hong needs something. I think that's something she needs. The more votes she can get out of Dane, and again, I've been saying, are there these precincts where she's just through the roof?
No, Hong is up by 4 in Dane County, 58 reporting. Crowley's up 3 in Milwaukee,
so far,
74 reporting. Nothing makes sense,
much.
but sure.
She's
but
got
it sure
it up to
is
4.5.
fascinating.
I
He's
think
right.
it was 2 earlier.
It's literally
Again,
flipped. So Crowley is not winning by the margins that he needs in Milwaukee, and Francesca Hong is not winning by the margins that she needs in Madison. That's why it's weirdly a barn burner. Both of these counties are now competitive when they're not supposed to be. When was the last time we awaited a pivotal vote drop where one candidate had dropped out while a substantial share of those ballots were cast? A Sarah Rodriguez surge could still save Hong, and it may be her last real chance. A concern for Hong, La Crosse and Eau Claire. Yeah, we already covered that. Okay. I feel like typical election EV and in-person votes are probably flipped too. Yeah, it's also totally because of all the dropouts. It's totally because the last second endorsement from Tony Evers, the outbound governor, it is Like it's very difficult to discern what the, like you have certain patterns that play itself out in every single election. Okay. Early voting, absentee ballot voting favors older people. Older people are more conservative voters. Older people are more likely to watch television. Older people are more likely to go for the establishment pick. They are defensive voters in general. I would say the same for the black voter demographic that participates in the primary elections, which are also older usually. There's also the element of representational politics in this circumstance with David Crowley and before David Crowley with Mandela Barnes. So that obviously plays a role here too. So, but in this circumstance, it's difficult to discern exactly which way the votes are going to cut because the absentee ballot votes and the early vote for half the time could not have gone to David Crowley unless people were just like randomly a fan of his, despite the fact that he dropped out at 6%, right? Because they didn't know to vote for him because he wasn't in the race. So that is the issue.
And we said she did have Douglas County. But if she's playing catch up outside of her home base, that could be a very tough place for her. 1.2 is the margin now, Crowley over Hong. What just ticked in, Adam? I know it was something favorable to Hong.
The Milwaukee, we just got a Milwaukee update that was favorable to Hong.
Okay, so now so what's our expected remaining vote in Milwaukee?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, so that was 17,000 votes.
What is going on?
And,
I mean, it's good. Mules, do your work in Milwaukee. Mules.
I see what happened. We may have to be upping our expected vote in Milwaukee. So that's it. That's it in real time. When we said before, based on the expected vote, it looked like it was just the central count absentee. Nope. Turnout, it looks like higher in Milwaukee County than we thought. And so, and that last update was a little bit more, not much I'm thinking, but it was a little bit more favorable to Hong. She won it, but not by a ton over Crowley. It did cut that margin statewide, but it is still 5,600 votes. That central count number from Milwaukee, the risk for Crowley, again, what we're talking about, now it may be, we may now be in a place where it's that central count, that absentee is what's left in Milwaukee. The risk for Crowley is this: if it's 25,000 votes, right? Now this is absentee by mail. This is in-person absentee. Not all of it was cast, before this became a Crowley-Hong race. He also has the added benefit of this being, Milwaukee City is in Milwaukee, his home county. But a chunk of these votes, a chunk of this 25,000 was cast when Crowley was not a candidate in July, and a chunk of it was cast in July when he was a candidate, but he was like an afterthought in the polls, okay? And a chunk of it was cast when other candidates, Sarah Rodriguez, Mandela Barnes, were still active candidates and presumably attracting a significant portion of this. The problem for Crowley would be if his share of that vote by mail is low for all the reasons I just said, and Hong just gets if Crowley got 20% of it and Hong got 40% of it, right? That's significant. There's a real risk for him in that absentee ballot that's yet to be counted in his home county, in Milwaukee, the city of Milwaukee. There's a real risk for him there because a lot of that vote is coming from a time in this campaign that he was not a candidate for, or he was an afterthought of a candidate for. So that's a significant,
it's crazy, dude. If the establishment actually consolidated support behind Crowley instead of Sarah Rodriguez, this race would be over right now. That's what this is telling me. I'll be honest with you. If the Democratic Party in Wisconsin consolidated support behind Crowley as opposed to Sarah Rodriguez, even though it would have made no sense at the time because he was like on the verge of dropping out because he was at like 6% or something, this race would have been over. There's no other way to look at it. Okay? Like all of this is like the reason why it's a close race that is slightly favoring Crowley currently is entirely because of the failures of the Democratic Party, which, I'll take it. Never look a gift horse in the mouth, but it's actually unbelievable. I mean, here's my take. Okay, here's my take. I totally understand why establishment Democrats have no vision. They don't need to. They don't need to have a vision. Okay, we saw this with Michigan, and we're seeing it once again in Wisconsin. They don't need vision. What they need is to spam TV ads and just hit electability over and over again. It doesn't even need to mean anything. You could just say, this is electable. We are the establishment. This is electable. This is the outbound governor. This is the electable pick. And every boomer, it's catnip for them. Harm reduction narratives have worked so reliably, both in the primaries and certainly in the general at times, for the Democratic Party, that of course, they don't need to fucking win elections. Of course, they've never had a competitive election in their lives. That's it. That's literally it. So I understand why they're so lazy. And I understand their laziness is what has allowed us to, secure some crazy victories.
That vote by mail.
But once again, this doesn't mean that like Francesca Hong lost. I'm just letting you understand. I'm letting you know that the reason why David Crowley broadly is performing this way after having to drop out like a month before, you guys are looking at the top line number. Oh my God. That's why everyone is like, dude, shut the fuck up. It's only 1%. That's irrelevant right now.
Milwaukee, we're sitting at now. By the way, again, expected vote was just dialed. The expected vote just went up in Milwaukee because remember, we were at 88% in, now 80% in. So more votes. Adam, what's the statewide expected vote now?
757,000.
Okay, good. And I can now see it. I have this thing. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Josh Braun, master of all things technology. He just got me in here. Okay, so now I can finally see this and I can spare you some of these questions.
Ditter.
So
talk
we
about
still,
performance. Where does your big energy go? Now you're actually trying to do shit by wearing a suit. We all see through it.
7 counties where there's more than 10,000.
Big D energy go?
There are 7 counties right now.
You're actually trying to do
where
shit?
there's more than 10,000 outstanding votes. Milwaukee.
Is your criticism that I'm no longer all talk and I'm actually trying to do stuff? That's what you're criticizing me for? That's what you're upset about?
Just Racine.
Madison is a lot more blue no matter who, corporate college liberal, so I'm not surprised.
Here.
Did AOC and Bernie see this coming? No, it wasn't about the primary. For AOC and Bernie Sanders, it was literally about the general.
Wait a minute.
That's
1,
it.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what am I missing?
I just don't think that they wanted to. They wanted to look like they spoiled a potential loss to the Republicans instead of the Wisconsin trifecta. They would much rather hang that defeat, if ever a defeat happened in that situation, in the hands of the establishment Democrats. But I am not even remotely shook on.
Remember, these things are subject to being updated. This expected vote has really kept going up as we've gotten a clearer picture of what the electorate looks like right here. We think about 27,000 in Milwaukee. Again, that would be that central count absentee vote that we've been talking about. Again, possibility there's more election day vote out there as well. Too. That's true in all these places. 19,000 or so votes here in.
If the current rate of votes keeps coming towards Hong in the same way since the 40% vote is coming, Hong is only going to win by 1.8%. This has come down closer and closer over the night.
And now if you're Hong, that was a positive one.
If the decrease in votes for Hong is at the same rate from 9 to 60% continues, it'll be Crowley plus 2.5. Is she going to lose? What the hell's going on? It's slightly favoring Crowley at this point, but it's also eating away at Crowley's early lead. Hong is hitting her polling average. It's just that the rest have consolidated around. Honestly, Hong's numbers are holding up. It's Crowley that's absolutely consolidated the field. Yeah, undecided Dems and Indies want to win the general and believe Hong can't win, and they got spammed with the barrage of anti Francesca Hong. Francesca Hong is unserious media, which is the reason why because the people start paying.
That's true in all these places. 19,000 or so votes here in.
If the current rate of votes keeps coming towards Hong in the same way since the 40% vote is coming, Hong is only going to win by 1.8%. This has come down closer and closer over the night.
And now if you're Hong, that was a positive one.
If the decrease in votes for Hong is at the same rate from 9 to 60% continues, it'll be Crowley plus 2.5. Is she going to lose? What the hell's going on? It's slightly favoring Crowley at this point, but it's also eating away at Crowley's early lead. Hong is hitting her polling average. It's just that the rest have consolidated around. Honestly, Hong's numbers are holding up. It's Crowley that's absolutely consolidated the field. Yeah, undecided Dems and Indies want to win the general and believe Hong can't win, and they got spammed with the barrage of anti Francesca Hong. Francesca Hong is unserious media, which is the reason why because the people start paying attention closer to the race, right? So the early performances that you have in polling and the early performances in ground game is actually really good if you are capable of establishing your brand, capable of establishing your identity, okay? So it's good to fundraise a lot early on. It's good to fundraise often. And then it's good to make a major push early on. That way you become an impenetrable fortress. But of course, if the entire national media consolidates around attacking you from an electability framework, as they did for Francesca Hong for the last month or so, and especially in the last week when the real voters start paying close attention to it with all the undecideds and indie voters swinging in the direction of who they perceive as the most electable candidate, the one that will definitely defeat Tom Tiffany, yeah, you get results such as this one. But none of this still explains how badly the pollsters have messed this up one more time. I don't know what the is going on here in Wisconsin. I don't know what's going on in the Midwest with pollsters in general.
Maybe a little bit better than it is for Crowley, but that looks kind of like a toss-up between the two of them. We think there's about 17,000 votes there in Winnebago County. We still have, we think, about 11K to come right here in Waukesha County. Those have clearly been good for Crowley. And we think we have, in Brown County, Green Bay, we think about 17,000.
I cannot believe how all of these races are literally down to an ass hair every time. I feel like this is specifically designed to make me have an aneurysm. I'm going to turn into John Fetterman. I'm going to have an aneurysm and become John Fetterman. I'm going to become a conservative who loves Israel more than anything else.
For Crowley. Boy, that's a question. That's a question right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where else am I missing here? Brown, Winnebago. We said 17,000 in Winnebago. I feel like I'm missing a county here, Adam. What else has more than 10,000? Portage has more than is it 10,000 exactly in Portage? 11,000. It's 11,000 left in Portage, and that's a Crowley County right now. By a pretty solid, well, of course, that's a Crowley.
Can't wait to see you on Fox. It's a Kyle
It's a Crowley
Lamau.
precinct right now.
Why would I shit on Kyle
I was going to say,
Kulinski?
we expect that to be. So, look,
when I become John
here,
Fetterman?
I think this is probably, on paper, is a Hong County, okay? Like, Stevens Point, university town right there, right? Okay. Winnebago, I don't know what to expect. Brown County, the 17,000 should be, you would think, more favorable to Crowley. But a lot of it's that vote by mail, and I don't know about that. Same question in Milwaukee. Huge question in Milwaukee with those 27,000. Racine County, close to 20,000 left there. I think that, if you're Crowley, is a very hopeful number. We always knew statewide
primary elections were going to be hard, right?
He's expected to do
of course.
He should do quite well there. The precincts that we have, he's doing well there. 11,000 left in Waukesha. So if you're Crowley, those two places right now, a combined 30,000 votes between Racine and Waukesha County, where I think there's some.
Guys, the New York elections were not statewide. They were districts inside of New York City. Okay? Very different dynamic. Much easier to poll, much easier to understand, and areas where, New York City DSA can do Assad numbers. Like, that's not even a question. This is a statewide race in what they declare a swing state, but ultimately a statewide race nonetheless, where there was a lot of national media attention that came in the last second. Who's your number two? I don't have a number two in the Wisconsin governor.
She could net,
Who's your number two? I don't have a number two in the Wisconsin governor.
She could net, still.
This was the cherry on top.
4,000 or 5,000 more votes over
look,
Crowley.
this is the cherry on top of everything else. It's a governor's race. The governor's race is very different than Senate races. Red states vote for blue governors. Blue states vote for red governors. Governors' races are entirely it's the most split ticket voted race. Usually, it's not. It has nothing to do with even party affiliation or party loyalty. But the reason why this one obviously was very important is because of the trifecta. Because Wisconsin wants to do redistricting and pull up numbers, and Wisconsin for the first time would have Wisconsin would have a trifecta here within the state house and state senate. And with the governor, would be able to do redistricting. Okay, it would be huge for Wisconsin.
Green Bay, but she wants that Crowley number to go real low there for the reasons we've been talking about when it was
got another
cast.
5,000 out of Milwaukee.
Okay, let's take a look. So that's probably there's still same day coming in.
Yes, there's still a path.
How'd that break?
Yes, there's still a path. It's an ass hair, though. Hong has more than enough vote outstanding in Dane to take the lead, and she should improve as the remaining precincts skew left in Madison. The bigger question is what comes next. Racine, Sheboygan, Manitowoc, and the Milwaukee-Kenosha-Brown absentee votes still loom. The problem is absentee is not going to be great for Crowley because Crowley was literally not in the race, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good for Hong either, because a lot of the absentees are older voters, and older voters were most likely not going to older voters were most likely not going to vote for Hong. So basically, the hope and a dream there is that they all basically don't go to Crowley because they were all paying close attention, and Crowley at the time wasn't in the race, wasn't in the running, so they all voted for Sarah Rodriguez or some shit.
Vote by mail that got. I'm just looking at Iowa County where we just got a little bit of an update, and I saw Sarah Rodriguez's shade come up here. I would guess this is vote by mail, and folks, that's what I say. That this is what happens when vote is cast in July for a race that gets utterly reshaped in August.
Yeah,
all those votes.
This doesn't mean anything because it's too low numbers, but this is exactly what I was talking about.
That is a dynamic that is at work here. So as we calculate the relative strengths of each candidate with what's left here, it's also kind of a moving
Assad numbers means the percentage of vote a dictator would get,
keeps going 90%, up in a lot of places.
Yes.
We're just finding out that this electorate is a lot bigger. We keep finding out that it's a lot bigger than we had been expected going in. There it is. Clearly something just came in Portage County. Okay, basically all of Portage County, or maybe all of Portage County just came in. Again, this number can't be adjusted, but it means we may be getting close. And we said this should be a Hong County.
We don't know.
Stephen's point, it is. She ends up netting just under 1,000 votes over Crowley. What that does statewide is it knocks that number, that Crowley margin over Hong statewide, now falls below 2,500. It takes, we said those counties have more than 10,000 left. Cross Portage off the list. Hong got a good number out of there. It moves her within a half a point statewide of Crowley. Okay, again, boy, this one, I'd love to see Winnebago. Out of Gamey sitting at 81,000. She's doing well there. So again, this is when I say Racine, we think there's close to 20,000 votes left here. Could be more.
This was basically the day before the election.
Early precincts, look what it looks
Hong,
like.
46, Crowley, 23%.
Demographic benchmarks that we set.
I assume the reason why they were doing this is because they are they're overestimating youth turnout, maybe because that's fucking insane, dude. That should be illegal.
Closer. I think the city of Waukesha, Hong might be doing better in that one. Is typically reported later here. Washington County, the smaller of them, but still vote to come here. It may benefit Crowley more, though Hong is doing a little better there than expected. Getting close to done in Ozaukee County. Still a little bit left there. There are places where Crowley can still move this number up. The biggest place in Racine comes to mind at maybe the top of that list at this point.
General elections are relatively easy
and
given very high partisanship.
Hong can make big jumps. This is top of the list.
Come on, Dane.
Dane County. What's the next update we're going to get, and what does it look like?
Bring
the last
in the
update
mules.
we got from here, was 15,000 votes, and Hong won the update by 15 points. I think 16 points. So are we going to get another one of those updates? If it does, if another one of those updates were to come in right now, we'd be essentially tied statewide.
2,000 only.
But is that how it's going to break? Because Adam is saying there's this big divide from the city of Madison versus the outlying parts of Dane County, and they're running very differently in those places. Do we have a sense here between the two, what the breakdown is of what's left?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking before that last update, and it was about even from the break, and we saw, that last update be very favorable for the Hong. So I think it was probably from Madison.
Yeah.
But I can take a look.
Yeah, if we just have a general sense, because that split looms large. Like if it's disproportionately Madison versus if it's disproportionately outside of Madison. I do know some of these cities have tended to report a little bit later.
She'll clean up the rest of Dane. I mean, she's done
if
pretty
it is,
poorly in Dane.
Obviously, Hong wants it to be from the Madison.
Like literally every undecided voter leading into the election was like, oh my God, I had no idea how bad things were. I love David Crowley. I want a data center in my backyard. Virtually every undecided voter in the entire state was like, oh, I would love data centers, please. More data centers. I actually want the data center in my house. I want it in my living room.
Get that she could get that margin up closer to where
I want a reasonable moderate who is going to work with the Republicans, who's going to say the Republicans have good ideas. Every undecided voter turned into the most moderate voter from the perspective of the establishment Democrats in the United States of America. Or they were just the biggest Thanksgiving heads. The biggest Thanksgiving heads of all time. For what it's worth, by my math, the rest of Dane drop right now. Hong would take the lead by a couple thousand votes. It's going to be very pro-Hong with how concentrated it is in younger areas of Madison. I'm a broken record at this point, but this really may come down to Milwaukee's absentee vote, much of which was cast while Crowley was out of the race. It is an unusually difficult bash the model, and I genuinely don't know what to expect. Is this going to be the first no projection race? Like, what the fuck?
Total vote in Milwaukee up. It's going up, and so it may not be just vote by mail that's left from the city of Milwaukee there.
You definitely clocked it when you told Oliver Ahmad about traditional TV ads still being important. Yeah, I know. That was like some crack cocaine shit. I don't understand why campaigns do stuff like that. Why reinvent the wheel? Okay? There is a reason why it is the wheel. Okay? I'm sorry. It still works. As long as boomers are still watching television, we're 20 years out from TV ads no longer working. Okay? Like as long as boomers are like 45% of the electorate and they all are slammed to their television, you have to dump expensive ass, statewide race ass TV markets. You have to dump boatloads of money into it. It sucks, but it's the case.
It's a small share. 13. 4%. This was. We thought that we earlier thought they were basically done in Douglas, and I was. We thought that we earlier thought they were basically done in Douglas, and I was saying, boy, what a good number that is for Hong. There's still a lot to come here now. It turns out as that expected vote's been revised, and so it creates the possibility in a place like this. If that remaining vote is good for Crowley, there's room for him there to end up getting making this county look a lot different than it did when we checked in 20 minutes ago. What I'm kind of getting at here is the small northern Wisconsin counties
I don't know what the
that add up if they become kind of a uniform Crowley block. I know you're seeing the Hong shade here in some of these counties, but in a lot of them it's. It's 13% in Ashland. It's 6 votes. It's 100 votes in Polk. So, it does add up if these all fill.
I don't know why. I do not know why the polls were so wrong. I have no idea. I genuinely don't know. I mean, I think Nate Silver is probably not wrong when he says it's like hard to model primaries because it's unpredictable. This one was particularly unpredictable because of all of the dropouts and last second consolidations that took place. This is even worse. This is worse than Michigan. And I think like maybe they were oversampling youth turnout, judging by all the other DSA affiliated, DSA aligned races. But again, maybe they just didn't know the secret sauce there is not just DSA plus me, but it's DSA plus me plus national progressives throwing their weight around as well, doing like maybe one campaign or two, maybe a rally in there for good measure. This is probably the best defense of the polls. Multi-way races are hard because voters are actually quite rational and tactical. So when a multi-race becomes a de facto two-way race, things can shift extremely quickly. Before we talk polling error, Hong will very likely hit what the polls said she'd get. The election was polarized for and against her, and polls are still a crude measure for consolidation, which only happens at the very end. Yeah, except the last day poll literally still showed plus 23 for Francesca Hong. So I don't know what we're talking about. Yeah. Chaz is another one of my poll guys. He says, I'm glad we repolled Wisconsin governor after Michigan. We made our weights much, much more favorable to Crowley and still couldn't find him in the lead. Neither could his internal pollster. This is non-response bias that was, it seems, unavoidable. One candidate's voters wanted to answer polls. We had said here, and I had said on here, that there was no way out of this scenario by adjusting your weights. There's no real data on the ideological breakdowns of the previous Dem primary electorates here, which you really need, it seems, just as you need party weights in general election. One key factor here is that all the areas that Abdul actually performed above expectations or performed
before.
Oh my God, it's 500 votes. Oh my God, the difference is 500
You get
votes.
to the end of the night and you think there's X number of votes left, and it turns out turnout was even higher. And so I keep that in mind here.
Oh my God.
We are up to
I'm
768,000
piss, or else I'll
statewide as
piss
well
my
as our
pants.
expected
Oh my
vote.
God.
That ticked up from our last update.
Yep. So, we're saying our system here is now saying 17,000 expected left out of Dane, but I say take that under advisement. There could be more. But if there is 17,000 left in Dane, and if Hong won it by the margin she just won that last, she would net over Crowley close to 3,000 votes. Now, I don't know that it's all going to look like that because, again, some of this is outside of Madison, but there certainly looks like there's enough there. What I'm kind of getting at here is, I think what's left in Madison, can Hong give herself some kind of a pad coming out of Dane? Because there's clear places on this map you can point to where I think it's this is the top of the list. One of the, Racine County. I think this is a place where Crowley is going to, if Racine came in right now, I think that goes up, not insubstantially. Still some to come in Waukesha, right? If that came in right now, okay, Washington, I think Ozaki, there's even some there in Ozaki. As we say, I think there's much more. Okay, again, here's another place that's been updated. If you've been watching in Brown County, the percent of the vote that's in looked much higher earlier. That means our decision desk has looked at it and said, no, turnout was higher in Brown County. So, and again, it's not a huge margin here, but Crowley's leading here.
Count the votes.
He could get more of a pad out of Brown County. As I say, if in these small kind of rural counties in northern Wisconsin, even I'm just going to look kind of through the driftless. I should go to a county that actually has votes in through kind of the driftless area. He's putting up some margins there. St. Croix. Now, this is the suburbs of Minneapolis, St. Paul.
It's such a busted ass race that under normal circumstances, the same day, like the election day voting will absolutely favor Francesca Hong. However, given the barrage of negative ad spend and negative earned media against Francesca Hong in this last week, you unfortunately can't make that prediction. Or rather, it's definitely going to be the case that younger voters that are pro-Hong by Assad margins are excited. They're voting on the election day voting. But how many of those votes, will it be a wide enough margin that she actually overtakes David Crowley here as the difference continues to grow? From 400 to 500 to now 700, because those are mostly rural counties that they're looking at the votes from. Should the takeaway be no attention to primary polls and DSA races? You can't. There's no way to operate without looking at polling. Didn't know Milwaukee was washed like that? What are you talking about? Milwaukee's actually really good for Francesca Hong. The difference being 1,000 votes is crazy. This is literally David Crowley territory.
How well will Crowley do here? Does he win Racine County by double digits? We think 20,000 votes, something like that in Racine.
Yep.
If Crowley wins it by 10 points,
this being a crowded primary
votes.
favored Francesca Hong, Chad, is like people are like, oh, is this good for Hong? Yes. Yes, it wasn't. The establishment never got f***ed up. The establishment f***ed up in Wisconsin. This was a sneak attack.
It does look like some more in Brown County. Can he do better?
Yeah, all the black people in Wisconsin live in Milwaukee. He's literally the county executive. Them basically tying is crazy. Yeah. It's supposed to be where Crowley really runs up the numbers. The fact that it's so close, the fact that it's like competitive would have been good for Francesca. The problem here is Madison.
Could add up to a couple thousand.
Like she was supposed to draw up the numbers in Dane, and
yeah, Washington County, we got 2,500 votes, and he nets about 200 votes or so.
Okay, yep. This is one of the smallest of the wows. That puts Crowley back ahead by 1,000 statewide. Yeah, I mean there are
stop the count.
There are a fairly spread out.
Sorry, dude, I don't see a way out for Hong.
Geographically,
all the Chud counties are definitely going to Crowley. Dog, what are you talking about? Oh my God, some of you do not understand how to look at these electoral maps. Every single one of those Chud counties is like the totality of 10,000 votes, whereas one dump from Madison could literally wipe out the gains that Crowley makes. You literally think land votes. There's 2 places to look at here, or a couple, like maybe 3 or 4 places to look at. Stop thinking land votes. Land does not vote. We are not Republican. We do not believe that land votes.
In sort of the rural, small rural counties of northern Wisconsin and the driftless area, I could see Crowley getting votes that bring this up. Not in a huge way, but that do pad this. I can definitely see him doing that here in Racine County, and certainly in whatever is left in Waukesha, Washington, as you just saw.
Chatters are like, I don't get it. There's a lot of these gray areas that are in the outskirts. Like clearly, there's still so many dumps in favor of the more right-wing candidate. It's like that doesn't mean anything.
He could pad this much.
Like,
whoa, he just got something big. What was it?
Racine.
That was Racine.
Yes.
Okay. Whoa. Okay. What did I say? We said he could maybe get 2,000, right? And he gets
not good.
1,763. So not necessarily all of it. This is where we check. We find out is it higher, but this is a lot of it. This is probably most of it. And so there it is.
He doesn't even know.
That's exactly. It's pretty much what Crowley wanted to get out of there, I would say. But if you're Hong, you say okay, you just took your shot. Was that your best remaining shot, Crowley? 2930. He just got something else. What else just came in?
We got an Iowa update. We got Jackson update.
Oh, this is where Rodriguez was leading the early count, right?
We got an Iowa update. We got Jackson update.
Oh, this is where Rodriguez was leading the early count, right? Okay, again, just small, but this is what I'm saying. From Crowley's standpoint, if he's doing this is the kind of thing that adds up. What was the other one you said?
Jackson.
Okay, yeah, small and.
What is this?
Right.
Your assessment that Republicans wouldn't vote for Hong isn't holding up in this map. The deepest red counties are voting Crowley.
He gained some votes down here.
That doesn't mean the Republicans are voting for Crowley. That just means
much more concentrated.
That just means that there are more conservative voters in those rural counties that are, doing defensive voting and most likely voting for David Crowley instead of Francesca Hong, the socialist. It's not a closed primary. It's not. Technically, you could have that. You could have like the Republicans vote because they know Tom Tiffany is going to make it regardless, so they'll burn their ballot and vote on the Democratic one. But it doesn't matter.
The central count of absentee.
Because if they were to do that, they would vote for Francesca Hong. They wouldn't vote for David Crowley.
Where she has continued to lead. What did she win that update by?
No, it's not over, Chatters. What are we talking about?
How many votes roughly?
1,500.
Yeah, it's a semi-closed or semi-open primary. You have to vote on the Democratic ballot or the Republican ballot, which means you can pick up a Democratic ballot and vote on the Democratic ballot on the Democratic Party line. Some Republicans could do that, but even if they were to do that, they wouldn't do it for David Crowley. They would do it for Francesca Hong. They think Francesca Hong is a weaker candidate. Why don't you guys listen to me?
And Sean O, he net 6 votes.
This is going to come down to Madison, Election Day, how many of the votes have not been counted
a little while ago. I think
because again, I think there's going to be additional votes. Like when you see that number up top, as Kornacki has mentioned, like that doesn't actually mean 74% in. That's an estimate. Okay. So like if there is an overwhelming number of Election Day voters, that estimate might be wrong. So sometimes you'll see it at like 92%. They'll be like, oops, we just got new ballots that got delivered, which means it's no longer at 92%. It's at 90%. Right?
1,278.
So I'm guessing we might have been in suburban Dane at that point because that's not No, 60-40. No, okay, that's, yep.
My buddy was
So
voting
she-
in Cudahy
we also got
today,
a
and he says a
Sheboygan
Republican
update.
dipshit voted for Crowley and the rest of
That was
Republican
about
candidates, and his ballot got
3,500
rejected.
votes.
Yep.
Crowley gets 1,500 of them. Hong gets 1,300.
Okay. Yeah, I got to say, it's starting to become, I don't mean to do this, but it's just, I think we're seeing what just came in.
We got Crawford and we got Barron.
Yeah, so I mean, again, this is like what just came in, a chunk from a small driftless area county. It's a 25 vote margin for Crowley, but what you're seeing is the Crowley blue, right? Even if these margins are small, the places where you're actually seeing Hong's shade of blue here, right? We know it's the big college one, lacrosse. It's the
I feel like you're
college, Eau
misremembering the
Claire,
reporting.
College.
No,
Stevens
dude, the
Point,
internal
right?
memos for Tom Tiffany don't mean anything.
I think a bit of a
The
surprise.
Republican voters,
that we've
by
seen
and
it
large, that would make a
here in
tactical
Outagamie.
voter decision like that saw David Crowley as a stronger opponent because they're looking at polls, and the number that we're talking about is so marginal. You have to be ultra instinct autistic as a Republican to be like that closely following the polls and being like, yeah, I'm going to vote for Francesca Hong or David Crowley to make sure that Tom Tiffany wins. Like, how many people do you think are like that? I hate that, like, the Michigan poll irregularities basically broke so many people's brains. So now they're thinking like every race there's crossover voters or something. Like, close your eyes and think about how many Republican voters are like closely
County, I
following.
think Crowley was supposed to win. Not that Wood County is the be all and end all, but again, by and large, we've been seeing more of the small updates from small and mid-sized counties, just slowly.
Also,
dozens
support
of
independent media, chat. Piker Broadcasting Service,
Crowley
People's
number
Broadcasting
north.
Service, sponsored by you, the people, for you, the people, for tomorrow's news today. The People's Broadcasting Service. If you want to support independent media, please subscribe for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You get one free Prime subscription. Use it on your favorite broadcaster. The number one op of all mainstream news, the number one op of Republicans, and even sometimes the number one op of establishment Democrats. You seem weirdly calm right now. Am I missing something? I mean, I'm just taking it all in. What do you mean? Good results in Racine for Crowley, although still at least have Racine City AB outstanding. Winnebago looms large. Green Bay City could allow Hong to take the lead in Brown, and then we finish with Milwaukee City absentee ballot. Very close race. Yeah, it's an unbelievable barn burner. Holy, I don't know why it's like this. Maybe there are significant right-wing independents that are breaking to Crowley to semi-open. Guys, stop! Oh my God, I hate these conspiracy theories. Stop. Just interpret the numbers as they stand. Okay, you're doing like Hillary Rodham Clinton. Russiagate is the reason why Hillary lost. Bernie Sanders is the reason why Hillary lost. Narratives before the race is done. Okay.
DSA vote, the very sort of left progressive vote is more election day than vote by mail. But we got vote by mail. We got vote by mail left in Milwaukee. We're at 3/4 of the vote statewide. Crowley 27-10 is his margin. Let me look at it this way. So let me go back into this. I see our expected vote. Looks like it ticked up yet again statewide. We're at basically 772,000 statewide. Our current estimate is that there are 4 counties with more than 10,000 votes outstanding. Okay, I'll show them to you. It's 22,000 in Milwaukee County. It's 17,000 right there. That's 17,000 in Winnebago County. It's 14,000 here in Brown County,
the
Green
turnout
Bay.
is unbelievable.
And currently, it's 13,000 in Dane. As I say, the numbers may be higher than this in these places. That has been a trend we've been seeing tonight, but that's our current thinking in those places. We also think a little bit less, but we think there's 8,000 left right there in Waukesha County. And
the truth is, David Crowley's unlikable outside of Milwaukee, unlikable to rural voters.
Columbia's got,
it doesn't.
We think there's like 6,500
First of all,
votes that are left.
The truth is, David Crowley is unlikable in Milwaukee. What do you mean? It turns out the older the voters are, the more worried they are, the more likable David Crowley gets, including in areas where he's not supposed to be as likable and outperforming. The craziest scenario so far this night is that the Madison stronghold has not actually delivered results for Francesca Hong as predicted, and the Milwaukee stronghold for Crowley has not delivered results for Crowley as predicted. That's why it's like topsy-turvy. He's supposed to he is supposed to clean in Milwaukee. That's where he operates. That's his area of operation. That's where a big chunk of the black voters are as well. And I guess like it's the establishment failing to consolidate around the right candidate. Yeah, no idea what'll happen, but I'd remind that the initial talk was El Sayed won wealthy counties of white people, and what we actually saw was he won middle income counties, and the racial divide was more of a generational divide. So let's be careful. Yeah, no, that's precisely what's going to happen here as well, I think.
Boy, that vote by mail in Green Bay, that vote by mail in Milwaukee, because on paper these are. If you told me there were just, we didn't have that wrinkle. We would say with that. We didn't have that wrinkle. We would say with that vote by mail being from the time when Crowley was just,
Guys, Thanksgiving Gate is not as consequential as you think it is. Please, okay? No. I'm giving you the weighted adjusted take of all takes, okay? I'm going to weight adjust it in terms of relevance. Tony Evers' endorsement of David Crowley at the highest ranking, okay? Electability arguments as a close second. Television ads pumping electability arguments all around the state, also a close third, okay? Thanksgiving Gate does not factor into the equation. Her, less than fantastic debate performance where there was not a lot of antagonism. No one was attacking her. She didn't shine in the election at a time when more and more people are starting to pay close attention to the races. All that stuff is not great, but that didn't actually move the needle. See? Yeah. Chaz Nuttycombe is right. Gee, I wonder why Florence County, Wisconsin isn't as strong for Crowley as the surrounding counties. Oh, right. Media markets. It's almost like spending TV is king in primaries. Yeah. TV ads, that is the real truth nuke of all nukes. That is the real take of all takes. TV ads is huge, is very, very, very important. I see people arguing that Hong's spending disadvantage isn't as stark. Well, for one, yes, Crowley has a lot of PAC spending, money spending outside ads. And then you have to think of this relatively. Hong has spent less than 100K. Her opponent are in the millions, so it's a worse ratio than Abdul El Sayed. The marginal value of ads eventually hits a limit, but the effect of ad spending is likely logarithmic in some form. E.g., if you have functionally zero ad spending, that's really, really bad. Most political candidates with zero ad spending get less than 5% of the vote. Hong has been trying to offset this by doing earned media, as we've seen. The biggest ad campaign from Hong is a Republican-backed group, at least 1/3 of which was an attack ad. Now, I don't count that, but that's basically all she's had on the airwaves. Look, it even fooled some Redditors. Yeah. The early Republican boost was what allowed her to gain momentum.
What the heck just came in Brown? Which was that? That was huge for her.
What?
Yeah, so that was about 18,000 votes.
Big dump. I'm dumping. Let's fucking shit. Let's shit. Let's shit. Chat. Where are the let's shits?
Question.
Spam the let's fucking.
Was that the
big dumps?
That wasn't central count, was it?
It's possible. There's no remaining vote in Brown according to our counter. I'll check the check the website.
I said I want percent more, but now I do, because if that was central count, what was his percentage of that vote?
Let's take a look.
If this was central count, this is the question we're getting at from Milwaukee. If he just got buried in central count Green Bay,
it was 44-34. Hong over Crowley.
Okay, yeah, can we ask our decision desk what we think that was that just, and do we think there's central count left for Green Bay? Wow, that's...
The decision desk also flags that the expected vote in Milwaukee County has been raised by 16,000 votes.
Oh, wow. So,
God damn. Is this good because it's younger voters?
Remember, this thing was up at 88 once, came down to 80.
Crowley late pushers. I don't know, and I hate not knowing.
This thing makes me. Pardon me for a second.
No, this sucks. I mean, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good that there's more votes, but it also sucks because I don't know because it could go in either
Brown
direction.
website
You could
says
have late
unofficial
undecideds
results
panicking
final,
and
and
voting
you
for
have
Crowley,
101
or
precincts,
you can
their
have
total
the
precinct
classic
reporting.
youth
So-
turnout, the
Okay, so I
youth
think we've
quake,
got Central County.
put
I'd
up
just love to know if that
insane
was
numbers
the Central
on
County
election
number
day
that came
voting.
in. Well, you said it was 44 to 33.
Kornacki vomiting off screen.
75. It's not that
I'm
the
a
number.
Kornacki vomiting off screen.
75. It's not that
I'm
the
a
number of
Hornacki for Steve
non Crowley
Kornacki.
votes is not higher there than it is overall. But yeah, was that like the city of Green Bay, or was that like
Yes.
Central County? I think that would be if we could.
Brown just
find that out,
flipped
would
a
be
Hong.
great.
Great result for Hong in Green Bay City.
So Crowley's lead with that
I'm
is slashed
fucking,
down
I'm a
to
cheesehead. I'm a fucking cheesehead.
1,300.
I'm a fucking cheesehead. Go Packers. Oh my God. Oh my God. Socialism, public ownership of NFL teams for all. Go Pack, go.
Election day, which is going to be more
Let's fucking
total
shit.
vote
Big
here
dumps.
than
Big dumps,
again than
baby.
we thought. So it just keeps going up. Milwaukee's been raised now to 150,000. Milwaukee County has been raised to 150,000 expected vote. I can tell you, at the start of the night, that was much lower.
Oh shit. We're about to get the Milwaukee absentee drop according
And
to
now
someone on
it's
the ground.
just south of the Dane number. The Dane number is sitting at about 157 right now. But again, wondering if that could still go up
that's gonna
as well.
tell the truest tale of
those
all.
Those are now the only two
Milwaukee
counties
absentee ballots
left
will
in
tell
Wisconsin
us
where
the results of
there's
this
more-
night, I
currently
think.
there's more than 10,000 votes
Unless there's
expected
more
left.
additional votes that are coming in that they haven't been counted yet.
No, excuse me. Nope.
Unless
I said that
there's
wrong.
more
There's
dumps.
there's also Winnebago. Yeah, Winnebago, which. Okay, so we were starting to get a little bit more here. Remember that? Okay, so we were starting to get a little bit more here. Remember that first? This is just precincts. That's why that first update was Hong by 26. Now it's down to 11. So just let's let this one fill in a little bit. But it's a huge. In the scheme of things, it's a huge piece of.
Okay, we don't.
of
You're
real estate. But
you're doing you're running victory laps before
we did
there's
just
any
get
victory.
some more-
Okay.
something else just came in that was friendly to Crowley.
Yeah,
Well,
Marinette County.
Yeah, I was gonna say-
1,200 votes, and he wins about 300.
And it must have been that update from Winnebago must have come in too. But yeah, again, these are just the small, demographically small counties that, there's still half the vote to come here. These just add up to it just seems that there are concentrated places where Hong keeps being able to make pretty big dents in one fell swoop into the number, right? A big update for her out of Brown County, a big update for her out of Dane County, a big update for her maybe out of La Crosse County. It just seems like clearly, as you could see on the map, just by the distribution of the Crowley support here, there are more places where he's able to, far more places where he's able to do what he just did here in Marinette County, right? We saw him do it. We were talking about Iowa County a minute ago. There's a lot of places like this. We saw it in Crawford, not as much, but and it just so she takes one fell swoop, and then he sort of brings it back up with the Marinette counties of the world, the Iowa counties, and then it just comes down again. Where did it just come down?
Marathon County.
Okay.
4,300 votes.
Yep.
Hong wins 1,906, and Crowley gets 1,400.
Okay. And this.
We need more.
And this is this is one I think on paper Crowley probably wanted to win. This is a good number. This ends up being a good number
We need more!
for Hong. 0.2 of a point. So it's not. I say there's more breadth to his, but there are places like that. That's the sort of. It's not totally straightforward here, where it's like she's just doing it in the college towns or the youngest places. We said
it's not going to be a long night. You're wrong.
Bellwether, and she's winning.
Milwaukee absentee ballots are going to drop soon, and therefore I think a much clearer picture, will be shown once that happens. Yeah, this also means I'm sure Winnebago will be a Hong County.
Only 13,000.
So along with that, we have left is Dane. There's a real chance Hong is up heading into the final drop of the night. Milwaukee absentee ballot, and it comes down to that. I'm telling you, Milwaukee absentee ballot. If the olds voted for anybody but Crowley, and some of them voted for Francesca Hong, this might be an interesting result that is very good. But again, I don't like that it's that close. I don't like that this is what we are like leaning into a hope and a dream here.
Tipped this thing over, right?
Right.
You know, that might be the thing that's kind of, 77% of the vote counted statewide. And, she, as I say, she gets these big updates. A couple of them have been in surprising places. And I think the Madison number, honestly, going into the night, you would have thought this number was a lot better for her.
Yeah.
It still could get better. So I think there's more flux in this. I think maybe
Francesca Hong,
92% suggests. So
I am praying.
Sitting 1382.
Get those fucking election day vote numbers. You ran it up. You run up the margins.
This turned into quite
on election day. Same day voter turnout, base boosted. Madison. I am praying. I am praying for Madison.
We're hopeful that that Milwaukee Central Count update, hopefully they beat some of their past history in terms of reporting time.
Is there? Yeah,
Inshallah, Hong Dynasty. Inshallah.
I know we have some reporters there, right? Like
we're trying to track down timing. That's the best I got for you right now.
Okay. But it does look like, clearly it's
Barnes
not
and Sarah might have fucked Crowley and Milwaukee absentee ballots. I mean, they didn't fuck him. He fucked himself. He literally dropped out. It's not his fault.
In Milwaukee County than we thought, right?
Yes, that's right. I just point to Central Count because I know that's a big expected batch of votes.
Right. Yeah. No. Okay. It's just one of those. It's one of the many. Look at this. Our statewide expected vote has yet again been revised upwards. We're essentially at 800,000 right now, and we started the night at like 6, maybe 6 and change.
Yeah.
So part of the story is we've seen in one primary after another is this explosion of interest. Whoa, Dane must have just come in.
No. Eau Claire?
Eau Claire.
Yes.
Okay, wow, it was a huge update for Hong. So tell me about this update.
Hong wins 1,584. Crowley gets 627.
Wow. Substantially.
Also, an update from Brown County. Andrew at the decision desk talked to the clerk, and everything in that last update was everything in the city of Green Bay in one of the villages election day.
Bro, remember Eau Claire initially? It was like insane. I don't know what kind of crack cocaine people have at the polling stations when they're... I don't know how they're counting these motherfucking votes.
So they are basically done in Brown.
Oh yeah, they're done.
They are done. Okay, that is a wrap in Brown, and Hong wins it. I mean, that's it's like you keep going back and forth on who's got the just when you think.
I'm gonna come.
Toledo. Hong has done very, very well. I mean, she's going to win Brown County. She is going to win, I think, Outagamie County.
Dude, what happened in Madison? Unless, what am I not seeing here? If Hong wins this race, it is literally in spite of her, underperformance in Madison, unless the final count is just, dramatically different. I just don't understand
complete yet. She's doing very, very well there.
Plus 20, right?
And
am I
again,
crazy?
That last update out of Eau Claire.
I can't look at Umich Voter because he's private. He privated his account, and I don't follow him.
That reminds me of I think what is possible in
How
in
old
Dane,
is Dane County?
I'm trying to say.
I thought these were the woke olds.
I assume we're getting super young. Are we getting are we in Eau Claire? Are we in young areas and flood turnout, and it's overwhelmingly, and I think there's that possibility here.
I feel like that's the kind of the big storyline potentially thus far is right. Some of these places that are not the central or the largest county or city inside some of these counties have different voting patterns than what's looking at these cities. And because these places have the biggest populations in the counties, potentially they're reporting the last.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. If that was like Eau Claire that came last, Green Bay that came last, we said, Waukesha.
Big drop
City
for
of
Hong in
Waukesha
Eau
brought her
Claire.
a
It's looking
little
like she's likely to
closer
take the
here,
lead
I think.
sometime tonight. The question is whether she can hold it with Milwaukee City. Absentee
78%,
ballot outstanding.
444.
Like
And then
I
again,
said
look,
earlier in the night,
the small
Milwaukee
incremental updates tick the number up.
absentee
Like,
ballot
just give me an
will
example.
be
Just-
the
two just came
deciding
in.
Chippewa,
incident.
305 new votes.
I don't like that
Crowley,
it had to get to this
139,
point.
Hong, 83.
But what is remarkable about
Polk,
this is that
79 new votes. 39,
Francesca Hong, if she
24.
wins, she's not winning
Washington,
because of the
402.
wokes
Crowley, 138.
in Madison. Francesca Hong is winning because she put up an insane competition in every county, in
This
areas
one
where
is,
she wasn't supposed to, in areas
the
where
Chippewas
she
of
was
the world,
definitely
the
significantly
Iowa counties of
outspent.
the world, the Marinette
TV ads
counties of the
galore,
world.
all this shit. 52,463
Keep
absentee
giving
ballots
them
were
dozens
received
at
in
a
Milwaukee
time.
County as of
Add
this morning.
that,
Those are not
man.
included. What?
Yeah, you're right. Those seem to be like, and we have just been sort of. Dane seems to have really slowed down, but this one is, boy, whatever comes next here is huge. And we're at 90 in Racine. We had that all come in at once. I think.
Yeah, we
You
just
think-
got a Kenosha update.
Yeah.
She nets 26 votes.
26, and that might bring us to all in Kenosha.
Yeah, let's take a look at Kenosha. Keep you updated.
So 418. Holy cow. Well, I'll ask you a question after this, or maybe I'll look it up on my own.
Carnegie is 100% milking it. There's no way results are coming in like this. Are you insane, dude? Of course the results are coming in like this. They're not manipulating how they're reading the results.
I think there might be still a few precincts out of Kenosha.
Okay.
Holy every vote counts, dude. Holy the difference
We
is 400.
should clarify
The difference is 427
potential
right now.
Yeah.
Because I think we're also getting to the point here where this might land in a range that we're saying it might not be resolved tonight.
Stop!
Recounts are not automatic in Wisconsin, but a trailing candidate may request one if the winning vote margin is less than a percentage point in races where more than 4,000 votes are cast. That's from Associated Press.
Okay. Well,
Oh
certainly
my
more than
God.
4,000
Oh my
votes are
God.
cast.
Oh
We're at
my God.
1/10 of a point right now. I don't know whoever ends up on the short end here if they'd want to pursue a recount, but that also might be a question for our decision desk. What's the procedure on calling if there is a potential recount? If it falls in a threshold where a recount is
It's summer. All the woke
permissible,
UW Madison
does that
students aren't in
affect the call at
Wisconsin.
all?
I mean, it doesn't matter. There's still people that live there.
I should know this. We could get that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think our decision desk
44K
will
viewers,
get ahead
subscribe
of,
to Bring in the Mules. Yes, subscribe to the Piker Broadcasting Service so we can fund more mules, so we can slam these races and we can pack the ballots and do ballot harvesting and also more illegal activities that allow us to win races
Where
by
are
doing
we?
communism.
7.
Shout out to the Fox News reporters that
I'll
are
just run
watching me
down
right
the
now. This is
numbers here.
parody, Fox News. I'm
38
joking.
By far, at least as of our current estimate from the decision desk, by far the most, well, put it this way. We think right now
This is an
that
insane
there's
race, dude.
172,000
insane
votes
race.
left statewide, okay? We think that 38,000 of them come from Milwaukee County, okay? We think that 16,000 come from Winnebago County, that's 54. We think 13 come from Dane. We think 7 come from Waukesha. And we think 6,000 come from Sheboygan, 6,500 from Columbia, right? And we keep going. Those are the only ones with more than 5,000 votes we think left. 38, 54, 67, 80.
Dude,
that accounts
600
for
voter difference right now with
86,000.
79% of the
That
votes
accounts
in.
for
What a
exactly half
fucking
of the
insane
remaining
race.
vote. Exactly half of the remaining vote in the state comes from those places. Then it's just much more kind of, it's scattered. In those places that are left,
DSA
right?
win.
What can we
Democratic
say
Socialist
about
Mariam
advantage
Khan
for who?
wins election for Connecticut
Sheboygan,
State
I
Senate
think
District
clearly
2.
advantage Crowley.
First Democratic
Waukesha,
Socialist
advantage
Connecticut
Crowley.
State Senator.
Milwaukee,
Or state
Milwaukee
elected.
County, they've been running even, pretty much even, and so there is still some of that vote left that looks like it's kind of a wash, but a big chunk of this is that central count we're talking about, and we just don't know what to make of that.
Dude, best possible scenario, Madison turnout out of nowhere, election day turnout really does the numbers for Francesca Hong, okay? And then the absentee ballot dump literally just does not go to Crowley at all. And then it's over. At that point, it's over. There's no need for a fucking recount. Worst case scenario is absentee ballot voters obviously favor Crowley, and it's not like it's just far too close, or Crowley wins.
But there's the possibility that central count goes south for Crowley. That's the risk for him there in Milwaukee County. So it's 886 votes statewide for Crowley right now. Now I'm just looking myself. We went to those 6 that account for half of it. I'm just looking for the next rung under that to see what's if anything kind of jumps out. Let me do it this way. Hong's best.
Why do absentee favor Crowley? Those are a lot of age voters taken before. No, I know. I'm saying somehow the absentee votes still favor Crowley because they're so old.
She could get.
I don't know. It could happen. I am nail biting. Yes.
Yeah. There's still maybe some votes left in Eau Claire, where she seemed just poured.
Dude, if more Eau Claire, we like that. Remaining votes in Wisconsin, almost all of Winnebago County, which we think Hong is more likely to win that now. Winnebago's in the W and the demographically similar regionally together, Bow counties, and she won the other two by 1.6 and 1.4K votes. A bit of Dane, including a single precinct in downtown Madison, adjacent to a precinct that Hong won by 580 votes. Almost all of Columbia, Manitowoc counties, types of places that have favored Crowley, scattered rural votes, which favor Crowley. Absentee ballots from different areas of Milwaukee County, including Milwaukee City, Racine City, AB, maybe some Kenosha. I mean, given how close it is, the rural areas could literally do the distance for Crowley at this point. Did I imagine the poll saying 20-point lead, or are they useless?
Okay. We just get another update?
Yeah, we got Crowley favorable updates in Sheboygan, Grant, and Barron, and then we just got a Hong favorable update in Rock.
In Rock, and that took us to 95% in Rock. Is that right? Let's take a look.
Take a look.
Yeah, we may be done here.
They still showed 2 precincts reporting.
Okay.
Missing.
And did it was only a small amount there in Sheboygan, huh?
Guys, bad news. Michael Pillow, our favored guy, has lost the race for governor. So I wanted to do a quick update on that one. That's definitely a sad state of affairs. As you guys know, we're Mr. Pillow fans. We're Mr. Pillow heads. Michael Pillow from Mr. Pillow Foundation, also known as Mike Lindell. Yeah, it's a sad day for Pillow heads.
Votes. So I don't think that was our central.
First Turby Derby, and now Michael Pillow. I mean, all of the real American patriots are losing.
Yeah.
Wait, say it again.
She gets 38% of the vote. He gets 32%.
What was the raw
It's about
vote?
500 net votes for her.
Hold on. Did we? Oh, wow. That literally. Okay. Yeah. Because this was. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I said.
Yeah. I see. Okay. Yeah. So there. I mean, there's an example. We thought in Milwaukee, right? We were at our We thought we just had the central count left. Turns out much more turnout than we had expected. And look at that. The first update we get from it is very friendly to Hong. She cuts it to 500.
The expected remaining vote in Milwaukee now again is 28,000, and that's right about where we have our central count Milwaukee absentee.
I'm not falling for this trap again. I'm not falling for this one.
Again that's the remaining update there, but we'll see.
16, 13, geez, yeah. And I see 152. We should, show folks. Sorry. I said 172,000. We now have about 152,000 left, we think, statewide, with an expected turnout of about 800,000.
That is an insane. I mean, by the way, okay, we're excited for Francesca Hong, which is great, and we're in the tank for Hong, okay, but that is an incredible number, right? I mean, the turnout is very, very good. Like, I don't want to be a Republican anywhere in the country right now, okay?
I think are there. Hang on a minute.
This is the primary for a midterm election.
40. Okay, now that's interesting. 4,600 votes, no votes in Greene County. I think that's going to be, in the context of this, I think Crowley's going to probably do pretty well there. That's a bigger piece of real estate, 4,600. That's right there.
Come on, we got to get rid of Thanksgiving. That's why. That's why we're rooting for Francesca Hong, so we can eradicate the scourge of Thanksgiving once and for all.
Right? We got nothing.
I'm sick and tired of it. The food at Thanksgiving is subpar. There, I said it. Except for, well, I like mashed potatoes and gravy, but I don't think turkey is a good meat.
These places where.
And everyone's faking it.
What's kept this from being simple of just like Hong is running up the score in the college towns, blah blah blah. Is she's
35%
had some
off,
unexpected
5+ gifted
strong
subs, level 3 hype trade
places. I said the Bow counties are definitely there. St. Croix County is another one, and now Pierce County, just south of there.
Cranberry sauce. What the is that? I'm sick and tired of this bullshit. Okay. Yeah, I don't like turkey. Chicken is better than turkey. I'm sorry. I like the ham though. That's fine. And mac and cheese. And of course, the stuffing. The stuffing is goated. That's pretty much the only thing that carries Thanksgiving dinner. Turkey is a subpar bird. Okay. It's subpar. So yes, we will cancel Thanksgiving once and for all. Fox News running this tomorrow. Francesca Hong's campaign surrogate Hasan Piker
Things I think that were expected.
Wants to destroy Thanksgiving. He wants to criminalize people who simply want to get together with their family. What won't the socialists take away from you?
We just said they were going to Crowley. These things are not necessarily, or for that matter, Kenosha. That's if. Again, she's yet to actually jump him in the numbers here. And we've just seen this sort of game they're playing here, where she'll take a bite out of it, and then it'll kind of trickle back up. But 4,000, 3,000. Where else are we looking here?
We just got Columbia County, another 356 votes. He wins 222. She wins 86.
That was right there. Yeah. Okay. Again, and that was one of, believe it or not, that is one of the bigger remaining pieces of the puzzle. How many votes were there? You said
356.
Okay. Yeah. There's still. In this number with what's true, we have 144,000. We think now remaining statewide. I see this is the first time. Okay, things might be settling down a little bit. I say this only because this is the first time I see our expected vote actually come down.
Yeah, I see 793 now.
Right. So that's partly why that number of remaining votes just went down. Our decision desk has now lowered slightly, but lowered the total expected vote, the total turnout. So we may be a sign of kind of getting a little bit better handle on it, and maybe narrowing a bit the universe of what's left here. 144,000 votes, 828's the margin. Adam, just tell me, what were the last two? We just got some small ones, but I'm just curious what they are.
Yeah, Shawano was the most recent one.
Honestly, if you're a moderate candidate, this race is the biggest advocate for ranked choice voting I've ever seen in my life. They will never do that because ranked choice will clean ranked choice under normal circumstances. But regardless, this is only as close as it is because the establishment fucked up. Okay. That's also part of the reason why it's like virtually impossible to poll appropriately. No one knows what the is going to happen with the absentee ballots. How can you even know when the dude who is currently has been leading all night was literally not in the race when plenty of older voters voted by mail, absentee ballots? So a win is a win, but Hong pulling this out would be the second time after Michigan where the left got right above 50%. Hong El Sayed wouldn't have been in the scoring distance a few years ago, but most swing state Dem voters still wary of handing the baton to the Bernie wing. Their 2-term governor endorsements moved votes against it. Yeah, he's right about that. Yeah. I think Whitmer played a big role in Haley Stevens' overperformance in a lot of like rural areas. And I think same for Evers as well. I mean, Evers moved mountains, dude. Holy shit. The fact that, like I'm telling you, if this was an Evers endorsement for Crowley instead of Sarah Rodriguez, it would not have been close. I don't think.
Crowley could add a little bit here, add a little bit here, add here, and then Hong could get a big chunk of it, could just slash it all away in Winnebago. She's doing quite well. Did we get a few more in?
Yeah, we got another update in Iowa and Marquette.
How did Iowa break?
Level 7 hype train complete, ladies and gentlemen. Remember,
Crowley
35% off, 5+ gifted
64.
subs.
And then Marquette was what?
Big dumps incoming.
Crowley nets about 62 votes.
Yeah, just that. Okay. And our, 142,000.
Finished. And I have a big job interviewing in 6 hours, but it's 6 a.m. and I'm here watching a Wisconsin vote count. What have you done to me? I mean, that's fine. At least you're not one of those Finnish guys who's like a MAGA LARPer that watches Asmongold late into the night. You know what I mean? Captain Ajax, thank you for the 50 bones. Benjamin Franklin of L, thank you for the 20 gifted.
Right.
Okay.
No, we're not. We're waiting for the Milwaukee absentee ballot count, which is obviously a very significant number, or rather, it will show whether or not David Crowley will be able to put up a commanding lead there. If that's not the case, then it's still a close race.
Well, this is a bit like this is a
so
bit like
funny.
Michigan last week, where we've
this is so stupid. No, it's worse than Michigan.
kind of narrowed it. We kind of know the places we're looking for here, and we're just waiting for.
No, this is worse than Michigan. This is definitely worse than Michigan. And not because like Francesca Hong was leading in the polls or like the polling disparity. This is not just worse than Michigan because of the overperformance of Francesca Hong in Milwaukee and the underperformance of Francesca Hong in Madison, or rather the overperformance in Crowley and Madison has almost completely flipped
Vernon
the
County
narrative.
was the most recent update, 992
But
votes.
this also goes to show an AOC endorsement or a Bernie endorsement would have really helped here, like straight up. Not to do that game here, but a Bernard endorsement or an AOC endorsement would played a major role here for sure. Not even close, especially with all the establishment Democrat. But I don't think they wanted to. I don't think they wanted to be the spoiler in a potential toss-up race in the general. That would have drawn far too much anger from the establishment Democrats. So I think that's the reason why they were much more careful. Yeah. Christopher Hale says Bernie Sanders and AOC not endorsing Hong might have cost her the Democratic nomination. She's in some trouble here. Yeah. I mean, we've seen that in our data, in our silly data overall. But yeah, you need national prog endorsers for sure. DSA alone doesn't carry. At this point, we're all waiting for pretty much all of Winnebago and then Milwaukee absentee ballot. She won Outagamie and Brown by 1.4K and 1.6K. And Winnebago is the youngest of the three, which bodes well for Hong. Come on, Hongers. Why didn't they endorse? I just explained it to you. The calculation, well, first of all, it's a governor's race. It's different than like, a governor's race is different because of how personal the voters feel about who they're voting for governor. It's not like It's not always about like party affiliation or party identity, although that does play a role in this specific governor's race because of the trifecta. And basically, out of all the polls, which are weighed from a partisan performance, Francesca Hong's chances looked far worse than the other candidates. That's why Wisconsin Dems were in a panic state, trying to do everything they can to undermine Francesca Hong and put up an establishment candidate that was better favored against a Tom Tiffany matchup. Bernie Sanders and AOC did not want to be held responsible for losing Wisconsin, the trifecta, the state house, the state senate, and the governor's mansion, right? Because Wisconsin is going to be a very important battle state. It's going to be a battleground state. It's going to most likely have some redistricting initiatives if they have the trifecta. This is why it's very important to the governor. The governor's seat is a Democrat. So that is, Milwaukee election officials are just about to begin downloading election results for the absentee tabulators. This is probably a half-hour process. It could be more. Then they drive the USBs containing the results to the county. Hold tight. Oh my God. Do you understand? But that's the reason. That's the reason why Bernie and AOC didn't want to endorse in this race, because it's not like you're getting a Democrat in your ranks in the Senate or in the House. You know what I mean? Like you're not getting someone to caucus with, someone who could be a reliable vote for something that you care about. This is a governor's race. So that's part of the reason why this race is so close. That, and also no TV ads for Francesca Hong. That's it. That is the only reason why this race is close. You're more charitable than Nathan right now. Totally inexcusable that Bernie and AOC failed to back Hong. If she loses narrowly, it'd be a major setback for the socialist movement. They will bear major responsibility for. Yeah, I mean, are you saying Bernie got boomer brain melter argument of electability? He has nothing to lose here? No. Are you kidding me? No. This is party politics through and through. Okay? No one wants to potentially be held responsible for a toss-up race against Tom Tiffany and then possibly lose the race. Like it was too risky for them to maneuver this way. Okay? Can't really blame them with those polls. It looked like a lock. No, the polls, if they cared about them at all, they would have easily endorsed Francesca Hong because it's an easy victory no matter what, and you can point to the polls. The only reason why they didn't do that is because they were worried about the general election chances of Francesca Hong. I don't worry about Francesca Hong's general election chances because I'm a loyalist. I'm a believer. I'm committed. I know that we have what it takes to win these races. But I don't think it was the polling that made them shy away. If anything, the polling would have made them more confident in endorsing Francesca Hong. They were just looking at the general election polls. And now you might say, okay, well, the primary polls were so broken. What makes you confident in the general election polls? The general election polls are weighed through partisan performance. And therefore, it's easier to estimate what the outcome is going to look like for what particular candidate. They could still be wrong. Don't get me wrong. They could still very much be wrong. But yeah, if we're looking for blame, if we're looking to cast blame at anyone or anything, I would say campaign's failures in terms of comms on the national side in the last week. And also, but not like it's not a make it or break it thing. But more importantly, TV ads would have carried her into a more comfortable, albeit still narrow, but more comfortable victory tonight.
You understand. But I don't want to. Somebody just came in. What was it? Hong took the lead.
Dane County.
Oh, my God. I almost went to the bathroom for that. Okay. Hong just took the lead. Tell us about the update.
6,000 new votes. Hong wins 50% of them, and Crowley gets 33%.
Stop the count.
What was the raw vote?
Stop the steal.
6,229 total.
Stop
Hong,
the steal.
3,089. Crowley, 2,054.
She won it by 1,000. She won it by 1035. She won the update by 1035 from Dane County, taking a lead of 254. For the first time tonight, I believe Francesca Hong has taken the lead in the statewide tally. That is now with 83% of the vote in statewide. She's taken the lead. It is 254 votes. That update from Dane, you said was how many votes?
6,000, and there was another 700 from Portage as well.
700 from Portage. She won the Portage update?
Yes.
What'd she win the Portage update by?
385 votes for her and 185 for Crowley.
Okay, and I'm also seeing something else significant here. This update just came in from Dane. It was very big for Hong. It looks like as that happened, we increased the remaining vote in Dane.
That's best case scenario, best case scenario, best case scenario, best case
We
scenario.
were
Remember
looking
what I
at,
said?
before this update came
Best
in,
case scenario.
we were looking at, remember we were saying 13,000 remaining votes in Dane.
The mules are locked in.
So that update
Keep
was 6,000.
subscribing.
So
Keep
you would think it knocks it down to 7. We now
bringing the
have
fucking
a
mules.
remaining vote in Dane of 15,000.
I'm looking at the Dane County website in the most, as of right now, and there could be a pending update that hasn't yet hit our system, but they say 274 of 281 precincts reporting on their website.
270, say again?
274 of 281, so they have 7 precincts remaining.
Right, and we're trying to just gauge how many votes are in those precincts.
Yes,
and
yes.
it seems
that's
like
those
Yeah.
are 2 data pieces we have: that estimate and that precinct number.
I mean, yeah, that's this is what I just feel like I've seen this in Dane before. That's and I think we might be seeing it again here, where it's just like get late at night and it turns out there's more. It just turns out there's more than you expected, and the turnout was just that much higher. And that is such a huge. If that is the case, that is such a huge thing for Hong. Because again, I think we're now expecting there to be what just happened.
And Steve, we just got an update in Hennepin County too in Minnesota. It looks like all of their vote, so we may be close to a call there.
I currently have
you know,
11
this
screens
is what
and
happens.
monitors to watch the Wisconsin Democratic gubernatorial primary precinct levels. I'm not a Wisconsin voter. I have no client in this competition. I have no vested interest in the result. I'm just the man monitoring the situation.
Lieutenant Governor, NBC News projects, will win the Democratic nomination for the United States Senate in Minnesota. She defeats Congresswoman
fucking go!
Angie Craig, and she will advance to the general election
Another
to
easy
face former
Bernard brother
broadcaster
victory
Michelle
there, by the way.
Tafoya, who
Oh
easily
my
won
God.
the Republican nomination tonight. Again, closely watched race here. It pitted Flanagan, certainly running on the left.
By the way, make no mistake, it's kind of funny because like Angie Craig tried to present herself as like also kind of progressive in this race when she very clearly isn't. So there was a little bit of excitement and a little bit of fear that this was going to be close. Anyway, yeah, I'm also situation monitoring my ultra wide. What are you flexing that you have an ultra wide monitor? Is that what we're doing? Hong takes the lead with a Dane drop and still has 7 precincts left there. Will likely build on that lead with Winnebago. Then it will come down to Milwaukee absentee ballots. Oh my God. Sarah Rodriguez, save us. Sarah Rodriguez, Mandela Barnes, save us. Sarah Rodriguez, I love you. Mandela Barnes, save me. Mandela Barnes, I love you. You are my GOAT. The election with victory was stolen from you. Remember the Democratic establishment, they left you behind. Mandela Barnes, save us. Milwaukee, please. Oh God.
Be right back. You're free to come up, Adam, but I'll be super quick.
I'll stay here. Thank you.
Okay.
There's a progressive victory leadership in the Watch Party. VC rooting for Crowley to win because they say Hong can't lie about shit like the Thanksgiving stuff, unlike Zoran and other DSA candidates, which will lose her in the general, which will be used by the GOP. Please never, ever reveal information like that to me ever again. I will literally put you on a rocket ship. I will put you on a rocket ship and send your ass on a one-way ticket to Mars. I do not care. I cannot begin to explain to you how little I care about things like that. Why are you delivering this kind of information to me? Why? I don't need to know about this at all. No one needs to know about this. Please don't do that again. Okay? You sound like Elon. Yeah, okay, exactly. Possible close, 8 to 10% of Republicans voting in the Democratic primary. Our poll was 6 to 7% Republican, and I think we are seeing the same thing in Wisconsin as we did in Michigan. We're probably close to 10%. Hard to tell, though, with no party registration. Oh, God, people are going to be so insane about this shit. Jesus Christ. Kornacki asking producers right now how late they can keep the camera crew. Dude, this is exactly like last week. It's so funny. Kalshi bet on if Steve washes his hands. I like that you guys are just as parasocial about Steve Kornacki's live streams as you are about me. That's cool. So it's just how it is. Future Republican attack ad versus Hong. Please stop showing me things. Please, I don't want to see anything. I just want to see big, beautiful dumps. There is nothing I want to see other than big, beautiful, glorious dumps. There's nothing I want to see right now other than, oops, we had no idea that Madison had a tremendous youth turnout that we did not account for. It turns out there's more secret votes that just came in. Lo and behold, like, that's what I want to see. That's the only thing I want to see right now. Jake Kang, oh my God, he went to pee and asked his co-host if he wanted to get up to run the board, and the co-host said, no, I think I'll just stay here. Bro, you got to help Steve out here. He's carrying this by himself. Be a teammate. A lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand what it takes to be a live broadcaster, okay? A lot of people think this shit is sweet. People think...
Holy Toledo.
People don't understand. People don't understand what this looks like every damn day, okay? All right, this post will make everybody happy. It took about 10 minutes to unlock and download results from the first tabulator. There are 8 tabulators left. Only about 6 minutes at the next tabulator. We're probably looking at later than 11. Only 3 minutes at the next one. Yeah, that's it. Streaming is the hardest job. Streaming is the hardest job. Fox News, news alert. Controversial radical terrorist Islamist Twitch streamer says streaming is the hardest job. Sincerely, not even a shred of irony there, folks. Fox News, breaking news alert. We should kill this guy, Hasan Piker. How would you guys feel if we just killed him? Pretty good idea, am I right? Fox News alert. Steve Kornacki proving that? That's what I'm saying. No, she fell out of the lead. What the It's flipped again? God damn it. Stop the steal. Stop the steal. Bad dumps, not good dumps. Stop the steal. Kornacki Cam will be right back. Yeah, we're doing the 4 pest campaign in Wisconsin. It's just turkeys, okay? All 4 of the pests are turkeys. We're taking out all the turkeys. No more Thanksgiving!
We start with this, catch my breath. Crowley retakes the lead statewide.
Fuck!
Does it on the strength of this, partly on the strength of this, Winnebago County, where we've been saying in the Bow counties here, Hong has been exceeding expectations, running so well, right? She won Brown County, Green Bay. She's winning Outagamie County, Appleton. Why wouldn't she then in Winnebago County, Oshkosh, why wouldn't the same thing happen? Well, okay, Crowley has the lead here. The thing that we just saw, though, in Brown County, of course, was it was at the very end that Green Bay came in. Is Oshkosh coming in at the end in Winnebago County?
Yeah, I could take a look.
Yeah, that's the question that emerges. But for Crowley, because we see it in Madison too. But before you do that, Adam, was it where else came in? I do feel like he got something
Crowley
else
plus
here.
400 votes in Winnebago now.
No.
Guessing he's counted outside.
Richland just came in.
Just like Brown and Hong's
445
drop
votes.
is still to come to the
Crowley
city of Oshkosh.
193,
We wait
Hong
some more.
156.
Okay, that was it. Okay, so it really was on the strength of what we just saw in Winnebago. I'm sorry, I had to do that. I'm sorry. It's just no good time. Okay, Adam is just going to check on that, but that leaves. We think now. We still think. I'm just checking in here. That we still think 13,000 votes to come in Winnebago County. We still think 15,000 votes to come in Dane. And then this is it. This is Central.
Yes, the same calculation for Bernie AOC in Florida 25 is the exact same in the general as well. National progress groups have completely dropped Florida. They are not touching it with a 10-foot pole. I think it's largely because they're toss-ups. They don't think they can perform well in toss-up races. I think they're wrong. I think the time is now, but nobody listens to me. And perhaps they're right. I don't know. What the do I know? I just, I'm a believer, okay? That's my biggest problem. I'm a believer. A hope and a dream, baby, every single time.
These estimates can be a little
optimistic. But yes, if you're wondering why no progressive national groups have been active in the Florida races or in like southern races for the most part, with the exception of Justin Pearson, that is the reason.
All these expectations have been upended. Something else just came in for Crowley.
So Green Lake was the biggest update.
We had no votes from there, yeah.
Yeah. Crowley wins 673, Hong 492.
Yep.
We also got a Forest update.
Mm-hmm.
Crowley 293, Hong 231. Mm-hmm. And we got another Winnebago update.
Yeah.
439 votes. Crowley gets 210 to Hong's 124.
So yeah, I'd love to know if boy, this is it. So many puzzles with these numbers that they come in, because just when we think we got a sense of this sort of Fox Valley here, Crowley is putting up incredible numbers in Winnebago County, but we thought he was putting up pretty good numbers in Brown County, where Green Bay was, and then all of a sudden at the end of the Brown County count, they gave us Green Bay, and Green Bay was a disaster for him.
We got a Sheboygan update.
Fantastic. Now that must be good for Crowley. No, it was. All the expectations are getting confounded. It wasn't good for him, was it?
He nets votes out of it, but he only nets at like 50 votes. It was 2,357 votes.
It could be a runoff if the other candidate,
989 to 928.
Calls
so
for
this
it
went up against
1%.
Racine.
Yeah.
Crowley gets 519.
Yep.
Hong gets 413. Those were the latest two updates.
A little New York Times update.
he's
They moved
pushed
the
his
expected
lead
total of the
back.
votes from 85 in down to 83%. Turnout is increasing again. Okay, good. I think it could be good. It could be bad. Like I said, does this mean that there was additional turnout from undecideds who got really scared and voted for Crowley in the last second? Or is this actually the youth quake? Again, could be good, could be bad. I hate this. Normally, these races are far more predictable. This is the least predictable race of all time.
And our total expected vote for the state also higher.
Or if not a runoff,
okay,
sorry.
wow.
Did I say runoff? I apologize. I meant recount. I apologize. The candidate that's behind, if it's close enough, can demand a recount for the record. Apologies for using the term runoff. It's the California in me. Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking about this beyond, a socialist elected in a statewide race, it would be huge. But if you're looking at this purely as a partisan right now, as I know there's probably plenty of people watching me that are liberals tonight because, it's a big primary election. This is very good. Like the broad turnout numbers is very, very good for the Democrats in general. So whoever takes it is going to have a much easier time in the general than the way I think people are predicting it. It's a bad sign for Donald Trump. So, this is, I guess, from a partisan perspective, this is a good problem to have. But from our perspective, of course, we want a socialist elected in a statewide race. So that's not so great. We would like to see, we would have liked to see bigger number here.
Kind of meaningful population center. He wins by a couple hundred votes. There's a couple hundred here, a couple hundred here, a couple hundred here. And then he's able to take, remember, Hong had moved ahead. And there's basically been like a net change here of about 2,000 votes since then that put Crowley back in front. With
look at
very
this.
Interesting development there in Winnebago County.
He says, I still see this as a toss-up. Zachary Danini from VoteHub says, I still see this as a toss-up. Maybe if you made me choose, Crowley is slightly favored in my mind, but it's also so hard to know what to expect from Milwaukee absentee ballots. Hong has Dane and Winnebago. Crowley has a lead and stuff trickling from Manitowoc, Columbia, Sheboygan, and Milwaukee. So, it's like I said earlier the night, it's coming down to the Milwaukee absentee ballots, which, again, is not a great position to be in, because older voters, but also somewhat not a great position for David Crowley either, because he wasn't fucking in the running. He wasn't in the running for a good chunk of it.
Right. Yeah, they're at, and the expected here is 814. Okay.
No,
so
he's on the ballot.
We said we think,
but he had dropped out.
38,000.
So,
remaining in
the
Milwaukee.
hope and a
Remember,
dream
these,
that we have here, I mean, it could literally just come out and it would not even be close, right? Shannon Watts, what is this? What do you mean an endorsement from Sanders, Warren, AOC matters more than support from Hasan Piker and Mike from PA? Dude, Shannon Watts, are you on crack? What the is wrong with you? When have I ever made this argument? When has anyone ever made this argument? Of course, a endorsement from Sanders would matter quite a bit. No shit. He ran for president twice. He's the most popular politician in the country. These guys literally make up arguments in their heads and then act as though that's her argument. Yeah, I know. Yeah, of course. You're literally comparing two of the most popular politicians in the country to two Twitch streamers. Are you stupid? No one has ever made that argument. What the is wrong with these people? They're just like tweaking. I feel like they just watch white knuckling every race to be like, ooh, how can I get an own on a Twitch streamer? I'm operating on pure spite. Anyway, we're done with Shannon Watts.
This number for a long time there now.
Steve?
Yeah.
I do have an update for you out of Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So there are 9 municipalities that report their absentee ballots at the central location. 4 of them have reported. So it's Milwaukee and 4 other municipalities that will
The Native Americans appreciated Hong hating on Thanksgiving, by the way.
The updated vote. We know the Milwaukee's somewhere around 28,000.
I hope Hong wins
right?
by
And
29
there's
points to
10,000 more
validate these
outside of that. And I
Patriots.
think that some of these other municipalities account for that.
Or central count. Or just municipalities we don't have any votes from.
It's their absentee ballots at the central location. And again, 4 of those counties have reported. So we have gotten some of those mixed in already, but 4 of them still have outstanding.
Wait, but no, I understand. So there are 9 municipalities in Milwaukee County that use central count for their absentee and for their early.
Yep.
You're saying we've got is our decision desk saying that they think this 38,000 is all coming out of central count?
28,000 central count from Milwaukee.
From Milwaukee, but is the other 10 central count for other cities?
Yes.
So it is all coming out of central count?
Yes.
Right. I mean, so okay, it's all absentee is what I'm saying.
I think that's right.
Okay, that's can we just double check on that? Because that's so important, because if we're looking at nearly 40,000 votes that are absentee or early, you know what I'm saying, right? How many of those votes were cast in July? How many of those votes were cast for Mandela Barnes, for Sarah Rodriguez? How many of those votes were cast when Crowley looked like he was going to be an afterthought in this campaign? If you know,
hopefully all of them.
If you're Crowley, like, he has the advantage and he's building it in these small places right now. He has the advantage in the tally right now, is what I'm trying to say.
It's not looking great.
But Hong has a big bunch of votes, I think, from you saw what those Dane updates can do. She can get a couple more of those. She may be able to get, I'm very suspicious that what happened in Brown is going to happen in Winnebago. Okay, so between 15,000 votes in Dane and potentially a repeat of what happened in Brown happening in Dane,
yes,
that could get her, that could erase a lot of that. Then if there's nearly 40,000 votes just sitting there that were cast at like the lowest moment, they weren't all cast in July. They were not all cast in July. But how many
the fuck is the dude that got dropped out back this fucking close? Buddy, I don't think you understand. The answer is boomers. This is literally what happened. I feel like we are destined to experience 2020 Bernie Sanders coming off the heels of the Nevada victory over and over again. Okay? Some of you are too young, I think, and maybe you do not remember. Okay? But there is a moment where the establishment locks in. Obama makes a boss call. All the support is consolidated behind Biden. An easy victory in South Carolina that was, the slated to happen, guaranteed victory in South Carolina, is made a mountain out of a molehill. Everyone freaks the fuck out. There's like almost $1 billion in earned media from South Carolina to Super Tuesday. Biden carries every state that he didn't even have, that he never stepped foot in. Okay? That he never even stepped foot in. This is the level of power that the establishment turnout machine has had for decades. Okay, this happened with Javier Becerra. Xavier Baccaria. This is the exact same thing that happened. So, like, every victory that the insurgent left secures is an unbelievable battle. Okay? Is an unbelievable battle. It is actually shocking how many victories that we've put up on the board. Do you understand? That's it. That's how powerful the turnout machine is. That's how powerful the electability argument is.
Pierce.
It's catnip for boomers, which is why the establishment is so goddamn lazy, because they rely on electability in the primary and harm reduction in the turnout. And that's how they've won elections. And that's also the reason why they've lost a lot of elections.
Like, I would have looked at this and said, this is Crowley country tonight.
Yeah.
And she wins St. Croix. And this is what I'm saying there. I think it's population centers to some degree.
Yeah.
Minneapolis, suburbs. But yeah, Pierce and St. Croix, I would have put firmly in the Crowley category, and Hong wins them both, and cuts that margin to 1375. So we're down to about 120,000 votes.
Restrict boomer voting rights. Restrict boomer voting rights, and this country will be so much better off.
It's been a lot of both tonight. And 120, look, a third of them, a third of what we think is left statewide is central count, is absentee from Milwaukee. 28,000 of it, about 2/3 of this is the city of Milwaukee. And then I can give you the full list here. Fox Point, Franklin, Milwaukee, Oak Creek, Shorewood, South Milwaukee, Wauwatosa, Greendale, West Allis. Those are the communities in Milwaukee County that send their absentee vote to the central count facility. And the 38,000 remaining there come from the city of Milwaukee and a few others of those. We're not sure which, but the city of Milwaukee is one of them.
We think it's Wauwatosa, West Allis, Oak Creek, South Milwaukee, and Milwaukee.
We did know. Yes, okay, so there you go. It's so a third of the remaining vote is, and it's in that. Gosh, if you like a mystery, if you like I mean, what do you make of that vote? What do you think it is? You're watching this as closely as I am. What do you think that's going to look like? He just got Crowley just got something huge. What was it?
We got a Milwaukee update.
Oh my goodness! What do we get?
We got 4,500 votes. Crowley gets 2,556. Hong gets 1,568. Is
this being reported out from Central Count?
Let me see what. Yes. So now Oak Creek, Wauwatosa, West Allis, and South Milwaukee all reported. So then Milwaukee is still just the remaining.
That was, how many votes was that?
That was 4,536.
Okay. And we think that was Central, but you see what I'm getting at. If that was Central Count and he won it.
Yeah.
Can we just be sure of that?
Yeah, so those municipalities were previously not reporting, and now they're reporting, and the only one that's left not reporting is the city of Milwaukee.
I think something else just came in.
Oconto, 2,611 votes. Crowley, 1,185.
Oh my God,
Hong,
it's over. It's over. You missed the disaster?
That
the
is
rurals
potentially
came in.
blockbuster what just happened in Milwaukee. And that's why I want to be so sure that I'm characterizing this correctly as Central Count, because if it is a very emphatic answer to the question we've been posing about what that vote looks like. All these things about when the vote was cast and is there a penalty. Crowley just did you saw it. Now, that's. Well, let's just let.
Cheers. Andrew at the decision desk also thinks that what's just remaining is the 28,000 from Central Count from the city of Milwaukee.
Sure, but he thinks that was specifically Central Count that just came in.
Yes.
Well, if you're at Crowley headquarters now, that is the single biggest piece of news you've had all night, I think. That's huge.
15K
That's
absentee
huge.
ballot.
What were the percentages on that vote that just came in?
30% take for Hong, 4,500
the
over
Milwaukee
Crowley.
update?
Crowley, that's crazy.
The Milwaukee County update that we just got. What percent did he get? What percent did she get?
He got 50%. She got 35%.
Wow. I mean, this is how much. It's astounding to me, given how much this vote I think comes from a different time in the campaign, that he did that well. He did better. He's running at 43.8% countywide, and we're saying from absentee vote he did 50%. That's crazy. I mean, that's wow. That blows my mind. That's just massive for him, because that obviously sets the stage for Milwaukee. If it shows that with the Central Count there was no.
It's not good.
There's no apparent price that he paid for that coming from a potentially a lot of that coming from July or something. So
Stop the steal.
It is mail and early votes, so it's possible that those municipalities just skewed more towards the early vote. That could be one of the explanations.
Yeah. But it is that combination, and we weren't sure what the mix was, and we weren't. So listen, if that is
there might not be a way out here.
If that is foreshadowing what is to come from the city of Milwaukee, now that's just outlying versus city, although I don't know that we were seeing a huge difference between the two. I see another update just came in for
Data centers in everyone's backyards.
Iowa, 1,165 total votes. Crowley wins 467.
I'm shocked, bro. Why it's not?
Yeah.
You need to.
Wow, I think we just had a very
Look,
major
guys.
moment.
Being a leftist is about taking L's all the time.
I'm still hung
I
up
think
on
you
that
guys
because,
are too new.
If the central count in Milwaukee goes anything like what we just saw, I think
y'all are too used to a sequence of victories that we strung together.
That's a 15-point margin
with ticker tape.
If he were to do that in central count, with 28,000, 2,800, 40. If that were to replicate, it would net him 4,200 additional votes, and this thing would move close to 7,000. That's a huge if, but just to give you a sense of it. And if he then got up 7,000, where could she counter that?
This might be a bigger L than Bernie.
And again, something else just came in small, but I want to register these.
No, you guys are making a mountain out of the Thanksgiving shit. It's not. It's not. I mean, it's not great that all of our coverage leading up to the fucking last week when everyone is paying attention was all negative. But it's literally like people weren't making a decision on Thanksgiving, okay?
Because again, if
you guys are being ridiculous.
We're saying 14,000.
Like it's because the national media hits that she got, on top of the lack of TV ads, on top of no national progressive endorsements, and like it defined for the last batch of voters, she performed as expected. Like she actually outperformed in some places. She performed as expected and outperformed in certain places. Okay, but in the week build up, it was all negative media coverage, like tremendous amounts of earned media that was negative.
14,000 is the
14,000
is the
That's
is
it.
The actual remaining vote in Dane.
It's not because of Turkey. It could have been anything else. It could have been, if not Thanksgiving, they would have said socialism. Like it was enough for the boomers to feel fearful. And especially with no national endorsements. She had no backing. She had no trust that she could establish with at least some of those voters on the edge. You know, your parents that say things like, I really like Francesca Hong. I really like all of her policies, but I'm really worried that she's not going to be able to win, which is why I'm going to vote for Kelda Royce. Because there are a lot of people who did that. I promise you, there are a lot of people whose parents were just like randomly YOLO voting for Kelda Royce or some shit because they thought she was far more electable. Okay? This is exactly what happens. Like this is a very commonplace thing where they just, you know, older voters think they're making a safe pick, a safe choice. And for a lot of people, it's also about, electability in the primary, harm reduction in the general. It is an incredibly powerful motivator for boomers. It's still unbelievably powerful. We are getting to the point where Hong needs to win Milwaukee absentee ballots, but that is possible. No, I don't think that's possible. Still feel good about Crowley slightly favored. I don't think Hong wins the Milwaukee absentee ballot. That would be the most insane. That's the most insane change of pace in this entire race. Like
that they were streaming live from inside the central counting location, and they're now outside. So it's possible these votes are making moves.
Wait. The people broadcasting have been moved outside?
There was a camera, and they were watching them process the ballots inside a location. Remember, they have to bring it from the one location to the other.
Right.
That camera's now outside. So.
Okay. This is like waiting for the Pope, right? You're looking for when's the smoke?
We're looking for any signals we
plumes
can.
of smoke. They'll tell us.
That's the update I have. Yeah.
They'll tell us. But yeah, I just that update that.
We just got another one from
Central
Grant
count
County.
down from Milwaukee, who's
Another,
battle. She wins those last Madison votes by a crazy margin. Hong will not eke it out after all.
Hong 210.
Yeah, they're adding up for him. Now if you're Hong, you need you need a essentially a surprise in this Milwaukee number, can we make a case for why that would happen? I guess the case we would make is city of Milwaukee as opposed to one of the sort of inner suburbs of Milwaukee County. So it, can be much younger, right? Can be much more
They're all set.
demographically
City
friendly.
election officials driving along with the police escort will now take the USB drives containing the election results to county courthouse. The county will upload the results soon after receiving them. Oh my God!
Not necessarily
it's over in the
inner
next
suburbs of these places. So
once we know what that looks like, the
we've
game
also
is
found
done.
They're getting into the car.
Okay, but where's the? This is to go to or from?
This is to go
Turkeys are
from
safe,
the
it
place that they
seems.
were kind of loading the ballots onto USB sticks or memory drives to the location that they can put them in the machine so they can be reported out to us here at 30
Why
Rockefeller
can't they do that in
Plaza.
one place?
I don't know.
So wait, I'm so bad with the technical. Just say it one more time, so people can appreciate what's happening. We say central count.
Yes.
They got all these ballots there.
Yeah.
Okay. They counted them?
Yes, they're counted and processed and loaded onto memory sticks. And then
Memory sticks. Literally something the size of a stick of gum?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
And then they're transporting them over to, I don't know, believe it's the courthouse where they can be reported out or they can be transmitted.
So you're saying they're now in the motorcade on their way over?
That's right.
Is there like sirens and what does it look like?
It looks like a car driving in the middle of the night in Milwaukee.
I hope they don't just drive off or something.
I find it entertaining. I don't know. I'm sure everybody at home would as well. But
I mean, this is what we
just got a Columbia update as well.
Yep.
2,800 votes. Crowley 1,252. Hong 950.
She's going to need something. I mean, this is really coming. I think if you're Crowley, you're feeling better than Hong right now, and I think she needs something out of this central count Milwaukee number that, I say surprising, but we're trying to make the case for what that would be.
Never a good moment this late into the night when you're trying to fucking crunch the numbers in the exact same way that he did for Haley Stevens last race, right? It's never a good moment in the night when you're crunching numbers to see if there's any opportunity for Francesca Hong to make up the
he's
distance.
Not there, but he has reported there in the past.
It's not looking
They're moving
good.
from the
Thanksgiving is
city
going to
to
win,
the
folks.
county
As the
facility,
anti-Thanksgiving
and then they report them out
voter,
from the county facility.
as the
So
anti-Thanksgiving
the
voter, I am
Milwaukee Central
personally
Count has
positively
done its
disturbed
thing.
by
The
the
city,
pro-Thanksgiving
yes.
voters that came out and
now
voted by
they're
large numbers.
transporting. But okay, they still just have to put these.
Yeah,
things.
it's still the same process, just the technical.
So we are
how that's happening.
Is Shaq writing to you? Can you ask him how long?
Yeah,
would he
in both
estimate
cases, the
if
key
they're
voters
now
were
en
electability
route,
crazed
how long
Dems. They'll
till
just
they
show up
actually
and
tell
vote
us the
D.
number? Does he have?
Yeah,
Can he remember?
I can ask him.
Okay, he knows. He's lived through the joy of this.
Yeah, I don't think the pollsters were like.
Hong would
I mean,
need-
look, we'll see
I
what
think she
happens.
clearly, I think,
We'll
needs
look
to
at the
chance to
final
win.
analysis. I've talked to some of the pollsters. They
And maybe it
told
is.
me
Maybe
that
it's
it wasn't.
totally
They
different,
weighed it favorably to Crowley, but at certain points, if like
sitting
people
here
are
saying,
simply
I
not
think we
responding
wanna
from the
make a
Crowley
Crowley,
camp, there's
you're
nothing you can do about it. No matter how hard you weigh it in favor of Crowley, in favor of Crowley turnout. So even with a favored Crowley turnout, like weighed in the direction of Crowley's base, he was still like 20 points behind Francesca Hong in the last poll that came out. So I think at the end of the day, this is too insane of a primary. And I think the DSA difference actually just kind of tweaks the numbers a little bit too. Overall,
both the
Overall,
and Shaq wrote to me with that.
I would say
Desk too, yes.
voter rate analysis from 60% of votes in it. It's 87 has shown that this will come down to Crowley plus 0.2. It's actually pretty Jover at this point.
But 14K there plus potentially the 12K in Winnebago can certainly get her close. The problem she has then is that you're just seeing this trickle. You just watch this number. You've seen it, right? It's this trickle from the rest of the state is going to continue.
At least with Hong losing,
So
mainstream
if
media
she
will
were to-
deem you irrelevant, surely. Are you kidding me? Fuck no. They're going to... The upcoming week is going to be victory laps from every single boomer consultant that's like, Hasan Piker is the biggest dog shit. Francesca Hong would have won, but she lost because she like hugged Hasan Piker. We literally found the one voter who's a Hasan Piker voter. And that will be the primary coverage for this upcoming week. It'll be naming and shaming. Now, of course, I don't really give a shit what these guys say at the end of the day, but 100%. The blood is in the water. The knives are out. What these people don't understand is I endorse Cory Bush as well. I don't care if a candidate is a long shot. I don't care if a candidate has it locked down. I care about the policies of the candidate, you know? So this election is proof that cheese goes on Calvijim, right? Okay, everybody calm down. For the uninitiated, is Crowley bad overall? Like, I just don't know. I mean, yeah, he's not great. He is a cookie cutter establishment, neoliberal Democrat. He's whatever. He's just not great like Francesca Hong would have been as like a bold socialist governor, a DSA governor in a statewide, in a very important state. So, but he'll be a party apparatchik, so it's not going to be bad. Like, he's going to be a data center Democrat. You know what I mean? He's just not going to do anything to rock the boat. This is not a race where like there is a truly dog shit candidate. Like Crowley is a regular, nothing will fundamentally change Democrat. Okay. He's pro data centers. He says stuff like, we got to work with the Republicans. Who knows how he'll behave once he takes the governor's mansion, but he's not like he doesn't have anything that's like so offensive that I would be like, this is really messed up. Literally the same thing as a Republican winning. You're out of your mind. It's not the same thing as a Republican winning because they can redistrict if there's a Democrat who's the governor. No, it's not the same thing as a Republican winning. What are you talking about? Look at Spamberger. No, I don't think he'll be like Spamberger. What? No. He's not like Spamberger. He'll be more like Gretchen Whitmer probably, not Spamberger. He'll be worse than Spamberger. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't think that's the case. Does Crowley lose the general? No. I don't think anybody loses. I didn't think Francesca Hong would lose the general. So that's why I'm saying like it's not great for having a socialist elected win the gubernatorial primary for the Democrats, but it's still fine. Like it's a Democrat that's going to win the trifecta in Wisconsin. Why did she not? Why did she not get any national progressive endorsements? I already explained it to you guys. It's because I don't know if you guys noticed, but none of the national progressives, including like, I feel like Justice Democrats is already like spread far too thin, right? They're stretched all over the country. And as far as national progressive endorsements goes, like Bernie doesn't make risky plays. You said that last statement wrong. Wait, what did I say? But this is still a major, significant impact that DSA had here. It is crazy. The difference between Flanagan's result, no DSA endorsement, but got backing for Bernie AOC, and Hong's result, DSA endorsement, but no Bernie AOC backing, tells you a lot about who holds the most influence on the left. Wait, what? No, Edinger Mentum is... No, that's not correct. It's an entirely different race. It's an entirely different environment. It's Minnesota after ICE occupation. No, that is a totally wrong interpretation. If that was the case, Nate Bluen would have won. You know what I mean? Like that's ridiculous. Josh hates Hong with a burning passion. No, because she's too woke. She's too woke one. That's why a lot of these guys don't like her answers. That's what it is. I think Sanders and AOC are fearful of what Hong general election loss would mean for the left's argument that they can't win. Yeah, no, that's what it is. That's why they don't make risky plays like that. It would put a big dent in the momentum, and they thought she was too risky. Can't speak for them, but that's my thoughts. Also, they don't really endorse in gubernatorial races. Yeah, but this would have been a unique one.
And I don't have anything currently for you. I see election result graphics.
Shaq said 12:30. It's 12:06. Whew.
What do you mean? No one thought she was risky? No, she was the only toss-up out of all the establishment picks. In the general election polls, Hong was the only toss-up. That's the only reason why people were shy about endorsing her. How are we going to win 2028 primary? Boomers are always electability minded and scared. I mean, think about what Zoran has been able to accomplish as far as good governance goes in such a short period of time. You compound that with a bunch of additional victories. You compound that with like Abdul's victory in November. That's not like 2028 is a very different environment, very different media environment, very different attitude towards DSA. DSA gets a sequence of like telegenic, young, vibrant, dynamic congresspersons that can caucus, that can push for bills, that will hopefully get decent committee seats. I don't know if Hakeem Jeffries will do that, but who knows? And then all of a sudden, you have a lot more legitimacy. You have a lot more legitimacy in the movement. And also the Abdul victory will also put a big dent in the electability argument against the boomercrats who constantly say electability favors us. Yeah. Think about how different the environment is in comparison to 2024 till now. That's 2 years ago. Okay. Think about where I was. Think about where this community was. Think about where the national conversation was about DSA. That was 2 years ago versus now. Now, think about the possibilities 2 years from now. Things can change. And things do change. Establishment still got to square. Abdul El-Sayed win with the Crowley win. Can't be sore winners and shit on leftists because one center wins. No, the establishment will be annoying and sore winners nonetheless. But it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? They don't have any policies. About 98K votes left statewide. Hong down 3K. Hong would need the remaining vote to break plus 3 points to take the lead. She was up 7 points in Madison. So if these last absentee votes and remaining votes break like that, then she's fine. But it's unlikely. Sad. Yeah, what do you mean? They haven't stopped talking shit. Who gives a